April 2026 video horoscopes. The true astrological new year begins now. Now is the time for powerful new beginnings. Not only that, but it starts this month packed with events and actions and powerful new beginnings. All five planets, we're gonna have so many planets in Aries. Look at that. I can't even put them here. On the Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, new beginnings. They're gonna be five conjunctions. Conjunctions is the start of new cycles in the start of new beginnings. So new beginnings within new beginnings, like a double whammy energy of new beginnings, new direction happening this month. Plus all planets, absolutely all planets of the important ones, the visible ones, are moving direct. Actually, all planets are moving direct, not a single one. This is so rare. Of all the 12 planets, all of them moving direct the month of April. We usually always have like one planet straggling, moving back, help making us pull back, hold back, go into the past, review old things. Now it's full forward galloping. Like this month, I feel the energy like horses galloping ahead, full force. So you get the energy, this high adrenaline, this drive to start new things, this excitability, this inability to contain into the old form. So there will be a lot of surprises because all planets are entering new territories as well. They're moving ahead. You can also move ahead with your plan. So it's almost like coming from stuck energy. We had a lot of Pisces in March, and Pisces sometimes can be more slowed down and uncertain where things heading. You saw what's happening in the world as well. So it's unclear. Now with Aries full force ahead. We're talking personal life. We're not going to talk so much about because Aries can escalate the fires of the war. I mean, it's unfortunately Aries is very warlike energy. But in our personal life, this is motivation, this is drive. And not only that, but the very important Saturn Neptune conjunction is happening in April. Sorry, Saturn Mars. They get together once every 2 years. They can join and they give us the next set of challenges to resolve. And it is challenging energy, Saturn and Mars, but challenging doesn't mean negative. Difficult does not mean negative. We'll be asked to do something difficult, and Mercury is joining. So, around the period from the 17th till the 21st, 22nd will be the most intense period. This is when the new moon in Aries is, when Saturn joins Mars and Mercury. Saturn, Mars, and Mercury will be like lined up at the same place, like that. Very powerful conjunction in Aries, around the 7-8 degrees there. But in our personal life and collectively as well, watch out for very big events around that time that are not very easy necessarily. But personal life, some important decision will have to be made, some new initiative or new direction will have to be taken where it's very serious decision because Saturn is involved. But again, I repeat, difficult, maybe some difficult challenge you undertake. It's something new to cope, to overcome, to fix, to improve, to start in your direction. It might be for some of you learning languages, for some of you might be starting a new job, whatever, but it's a new direction. It involves making an effort, intellectual Mercury, and physical Mars as well, mobilizing all your resources and power, and Saturn as well. It's very serious thing that you're gonna have to decide on, but it doesn't mean it's negative. It can be very positive. It's just more difficult. It requires more mobilizing resources and energy. So I don't want you to be scared, but I want you to be careful with traveling, with using machinery and anything and communications around that time. Mars, Mercury, they can be like fighting more with Saturn, with resentments. So around that time, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, this is the time when you have to be a bit more careful, but also when some very important directions and from these stressors or from those challenges, uh, something good can come out, like a new direction, a new development, something important that you have to do. Many times something needs to trigger us, to activate us, maybe not in a very pleasant way, even to upset us, for us to move our asses. That's what Aries wants us to do, and all those three planets. And for me, all good things happen first with drama. It's like some crisis, something unhappy about someone, something make pushes me. So take it as a good thing. Anyway, let's start. And by the way, oh, Uranus is moving into Gemini, guys, the biggest other event. Uh, and it's going to stay there till 30, 32, 33 for 7 years ahead. Huge event. And by the way, it can be very positive because Uranus is making a lot of good aspects. And I speak about that in depth in my 5-hour video, Uranus in Gemini. And it specifically predicts how Uranus in Gemini is going to affect you. You don't need to know any astrology. Take this webinar. It's 5 hours, only 20 or $30, something like that, the price. And it shows like every aspect Uranus does, every transit through house. And I teach you how to, and I show you there how to see what planet Uranus will impact for you, which year exactly. And Uranus is the planet of new awakenings. It feels great in Gemini. So the new surprises and developments that come again, you see the energy of new will be very fast. This month is very fast overall, but from then on, it triggers, it's just generally sped up energy all over the world for many years ahead. This month unlocks it, and this is the true astrological new year. Now, the new trends and influences for the world in our personal life will kick in. So, let's start with the signs of come and join me for my Uranus in Gemini class or my new long course progressions, where we map your life year by year ahead. When the big shifts happen, when suddenly you'd want to be single, when suddenly it will be time for you, maybe for 15, 20 years, to settle down, or when is the really like a long period. We're looking at long periods with progression, say 20, 30-year period where your career will be aligned to certain direction, for example, to Leo, to be a leader, or maybe where you might have like 15 years ahead where there isn't work much. It shows very clearly. So we map out the big periods in your life. You don't need to know much astrology, just the main things. I do courses, such long courses of 12 sessions once every 4 years. So it's very rare. If you haven't taken your seat, we're already almost 200 people. But I'll work individually with many of you. We'll look at your charts and we'll consider, and I'll show you how to do it. I'll pay attention to everyone who asks me for it. So let's begin. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, this is your month. I mean, when was the last time there was so many planets in the same sign? As I said, I can't even, in your sign, in Aries, I can't even fit them here in the sign of Aries. They're hiding the sign of Aries. Everything is moving there except Venus. Wow. It's kind of, it activates you, it triggers you, it motivates you. The first house, you, whether it's your sun in Aries, your ascendant, even moon, means that this month will be full of events, full of new beginnings. They're revisiting your sign, so they're kickstarting new program for you. So I would even keep a pen and paper next to me, if because of the surge of energy, some of you might not be even able to sleep, or the new developments that are happening. And I write down impressions, things that come into my mind, things like ideas, because now you're downloading the program for the next 12 months. Not even 12 months, 2 years, because Saturn is meeting Mars. That's a new 2-year new cycle for you. So many of the events that happen now will be pivotal for the next 1 to 2 years for you. It can be like an idea, it can be like new developments, new circumstances in your life, but it's something new. All planets are moving direct. We're not revisiting old topics. We're not dealing with things from the past. It's brand new energy here, guys. It's happening in your first house. Maybe make sure you check also your ascendant, your moon, sun sign to see what other houses it will activate as areas there. But yeah, first renewal of your vitality if it's your sun sign in Aries, because the physical energy vitality, this is the sun. So if you felt a bit drained or even lower motivation till now, especially March, because that's when all the planets were in the 12th house, where you needed more rest. Sometimes the immune system is lower. Sometimes it's just things that are a bit slower than. And Mercury was retrograde, but now in April, everything, Mars moves to your sign. From the 15th of April, Mercury moves into your sign. The sun is already in your sign. Saturn is there. Neptune is there. There is a new moon in Aries. Bleh, I can't even, so much. So time to wake up. No more lying around. I mean, even in March, I was very busy, but in as an Aries, but in April, the very big directions will be shown for us. And not necessarily all of them will be easy because Saturn activates a lot of those new beginnings. There's 5 new cycles starting in Aries, 5 conjunctions. Conjunctions is the when one planet joins another planet, it's like they have a union together and they create something new. They fertilize each other or whatever they in India they call it planetary war. so, so some two forces fighting it out within you or joining together. Let's look at the Western perspective, joining together to create new expression of energy and within you. Uh, but it does involve a bit of a in planetary war. It can be stressful at times, but we'll have the new moon on the 17th, Sun conjunct moon, so new beginnings, especially after the 17th, very important for Aries, very powerful. Then we have Saturn conjunct Mars. It sets the tone for the next 2 years. The difficult things we have to do, and difficult does not mean bad, does not mean negative. We're making mistakes very often nowadays that we equate difficult with negative. It might feel like stress or stuff, but it can be very productive and it can give very good results. But Saturn and Mars joining every 2 years, they meet in a different sign. And now it's your turn, Aries. So they meet in your sign. These are the tools we call challenging planets. Saturn and Mars, they meet in your sign to give you a new great work or a new, let's say, mission to work on or a new challenge to work on. And you can challenge yourself. It's happening in your first house that you give yourself some much more ambitious or much more, you know, higher demands on yourself because it's happening in the first house. I think there will be like for many of you it will be a conscious choice. You'd participate with your free will in choosing this more difficult challenge that you want to take over the next 1-2 years, but it starts now in April. For some of you, if it's your ascendant in Aries, might be like, I want to transform my body, so I'm going to work out every day. Mars wants to mobilize all your physical resources and energy. Saturn wants to mobilize your ability to say no and your staying power. So say no to bad stuff. Is it sugar for some of you? Is it, whatever? Is it overeating? Is it addictions? Or ability to say no will be very strong for you. And so will be this warrior-like um, Mars energy, motivation, drive. But it can happen with some frustration first. Like I said at the intro, if you listened, Saturn and Mars, when they get together, doesn't always give like, you welcome, inspired. I will transform my health or lifestyle, or with the Sun in Aries. I would I'll take on a challenge and for my career and start something powerful, important, or for your moon in Aries. I would change my personal relationships and I'll change and take on some extra responsibility or duty in my personal life. No, it many times it can happen by some stress or something that you can't tolerate anymore how things are, and the anger, think Mars, and frustration, Saturn, or really pushes you to take the next step. It's to really pushes you to mobilize yourself, to do the right thing, to do the difficult thing, because many times we don't do difficult things unless something pushes us. Usually Aries is more willing to do difficult things without, because internally something pushes them always to take on challenges, to go into difficult territories. After all, they're the ram, they climb in territories where no one feels comfortable, rocky places. So naturally, Aries thrives in difficult conditions. So I don't think this Saturn Mars conjunction that starts in Aries will be a bad thing for you. Well, yeah, you need to take care more of your health, especially around the time Saturn and Mars are conjuncting. And it starts already from the 17th, because that's when all those planets align: Sun, Mercury, Mars, Neptune. New moon happens on the 17th, then on the 19th Saturn conjoins Mars, then Mercury conjoins Saturn on the 20th and Mars. So 5 new conjunctions, 5 new beginnings. Wow. like a lot of stimulus and impulse for you to do something new, to change direction. And the decision might be difficult. Saturn is involved. It might require you to think very deeply and to take on extra responsibilities and to deprive yourself of something or sacrifice something, but in the name of some bigger goal. Because after all, the sun goals, dreams, like the highest version of yourself is exalted in Aries and it's also there. So you do something difficult, maybe you, in the sun, fire burns, sacrifices, where we do sacrifice in the fire. Uh, you, some of you would want to sacrifice some of the, could be old ways of living, sacrifice certain comforts, certain ways of being and identities, because there is very much about identity, who you identify with. You sacrifice it and you take on some new identities from now on, some new roles in life. For someone might be like the role of becoming a parent, the role of a new job, the role of I'm becoming an athlete, I'm becoming a bodybuilder. Uh, I don't know what it is for everyone. Is very specific what this new role, what this new responsibility will be, what this new great work will be, but it kickstarts now from April and you'll get clear directions or signs from the universe. Mercury is also in Aries, it's the messenger of the gods, and they'll give you signs what direction you need to take on and what is this difficult thing where you have to mobilize your physical, emotional, even mental forces, because Mercury participates, mental energy, physical energy, Mars, your staying power and persistence, Saturn. I think this can be great thing for Aries, barring, health issues, but even health issues sometimes, you have to be more careful, especially those areas that are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 degrees of Aries. These are more the March-born Aries. The Because Mars, Mercury, and Saturn are meeting at 7, 8 degrees of Aries. So if you have anything around 7, 8 degrees of Aries, or your sun is at 7, 8 degrees of Aries, which would be around 27, 28, 29th of March, 30th of March, even 31st, you have to be a bit more cautious around those days, 17th till 21st, 22nd, but also for all areas, and especially those with 7, 8 degrees planets there, the very important event that will change and that will introduce something very new into your life and the need to take new direction, to make some difficult choice and decision, and to dedicate yourself on a different path, or to mobilize your energy to do something hard, to fix something or to change something in your life in a big way. It will transpire around that time after the new moon, and the next 4 or 5 days. New moon on the 17th till the 22nd is when all the conjunctions are happening. So you might feel overwhelmed a little bit, Aries. It's all on your shoulders, all planets. But also, Aries love actions and things happening. And that's, you're born for this moment. You're born when there is such intense energy. Aries thrives under intensity, actually, even under crisis sometimes, like Scorpio a bit. Because Mars loves, like, when there's, and I'm not saying there'll be crisis necessarily, as I said, difficult doesn't mean bad. It can just feel like finally you get the grit and the determination to do something that you've known you have to do, or maybe some work project that under pressure that you're doing, and things are really happening. All planets are moving forward, things are moving ahead. It's not some stagnation cycle and you're stuck and you don't know what to do and you have to wait it out, and here is hate waiting it now. Now it's time to charge. But Saturn is part of the picture for you, and Saturn is act but with a plan. You can't just spontaneously charge like we're used to, because we can trip now. Saturn is, we need to act. Yes, there is go energy. There is act, new beginnings, initiate, but uh, wisely, cautiously. Measure 3 times before you cut, but cut and move forward. Don't just sit there. Should I do it? Should I not do it? No, no, no. This is the month to act for you, to initiate those new beginnings, but check, make sure you're doing it correctly, you're not cutting corners, and you're not rushing too much, because Saturn is the biggest planet there, is the most important planet of this conjunctions and this Aries activation. So in a mature, responsible way, maybe ask for advice from someone more mature as well, uh, but still proceed ahead with caution, with plan, but still move ahead. That would be my advice for Aries. Big month. What can I say? Venus is in your second house, Aries. Sorry, I have to show it like that. The whole month, pretty much. So the good things that come to you. So there is three planets in own sign or exaltation: Venus in Taurus, Sun in exaltation, Mars in own sign. A lot of good stuff will come. Planets in their own sign give good results as good quality. As long as you're not rushing it, but you're moving forward, as long as you're putting the efforts, you're not trying to do it illegally or cutting corners or too fast, then you can have repercussions and difficulties. Or if you, this transit, and especially Saturn, Mars, Mercury conjunction, can be hard for people that are very impatient or people that are immature, that they always want things, the easy way, but people that are willing to do the hard work or patient, some very important events can transpire. Venus in your second house. uh how you can soothe yourself is Venus. Well, take some good food. Second house is food, what we put in our body, how we take care of our face, makeup, beauty routines, and such things. Second house is money. It can be a good thing for money to come to you with the ruler of the second house in the second house. So it's a good month for gains as well, for maybe buying something valuable, precious, taking care of your valuables. All right. And then the other big event is that Uranus is moving into your third house in Gemini and will stay there till 2033. So it's going to be helping Aries from now on. Just like Pluto is already sextiling Aries, Uranus, the other big player, because those Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune are the big players. They show the social, the big movements in society, the big changes in social, economic, political, and not only that, but like the changes in consciousness. So when the outer planets like Uranus and Pluto support you, somehow whatever is happening in the world, and Uranus in Gemini is AI, Pluto in Aquarius is as well, the new technologies, the robotics, all these new developments that are happening right now. But here, because they'll support you, Uranus for the next 7 years, Pluto for the next 18 years, you'd somehow be able to make the most out of them. This changing environment around us that many people are scared, will we keep our jobs and whatever? I promise you, because Uranus and Pluto that decide the big events in history, you aligned auspiciously with them. Sextile is a sign of, is an aspect of receiving support from those planets. Uh, you kind of jive well with the energies of the new that are coming. So you recognize those opportunities. Maybe you join forces with someone as well to take those opportunities. And then it's not happening in April specifically. It's happening over the next 10 to 20 years. Uranus will help you for the next 7 years. Pluto, as I said, 18. And Neptune is in your sign. So it's kind of like it's focused, this combination of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto that is harmonious, that is in a very beautiful bisextile. Its head or its peak is in Aries, you see? It's like a trine, like a roof between those three planets, the three big players that decide the kind of, they move the consciousness, the times, the big events in history there. And the peak is in Aries. So somehow the energies of the universe are focused on you and concentrated on Aries for some reason, especially for now this year, the early degrees Aries, the first 10 degrees Aries, the March born Aries as well, but others as well as Aries, because you carry that energy. So you, somehow the universe concentrates its mightiest powers, for you to do some mission, for you to help you. Invisible, Pluto is divine truth. Uranus is divine wisdom. Neptune is divine love. So divine truth, divine some higher powers and qualities of yours concentrate to peek through you and for you to give some gift of love to the world with Neptune there. It might be on a small scale, it might be on a big scale, but the universe is focusing on you for many years. It's like to culminate its forces through you, its forces of good, because it's good aspect. So yeah, a lot is demanded from you, Aries. That's why now the Saturn, Neptune, Mars conjunction that's happening says put your game together because you have big things to do. Big things are expected from you. The universe, God, the angelic hierarchies, they want to fulfill something through you. So yeah, organize your game, get yourself together, get serious. Be, Saturn, all Saturn demands is that you're responsible, that you don't cut corners, that you do the best you can without attachment to the results. And Mars asks you to keep going. All right, so but Uranus in your third house, if you want to find out what Uranus through the third house is, I've done videos last year where it entered, check it out. Was it in July? Or you can get my course, which is 5 hours. How will Uranus through the houses affect you from your ascendant through any aspect? Uranus sextiling your sun, or you might have Venus in Gemini. Uranus might cross your Venus in Gemini, and wow, brand new love, brand new source of money, like one that you never expected. Or maybe Uranus can square your Venus, and suddenly disruptions that are not comfortable, but again, new beginnings there. So I will lead you through every aspect possible, conjunctions, squares, oppositions to every planet possible. Or maybe you have Uranus in Sagittarius and Jupiter in Sagittarius, and Uranus will oppose you. Even if this sounds foreign for you and you don't understand it, I explain exactly. I show you a calculator how to see exactly which aspects you're going to have, and you just listen then to the interpretations and the stories that I share from previous experiences of Uranus. So yeah, Uranus in the third house, guys, get ready to have a lot of exciting new changes in your environment. Third house is your immediate environment, the people that you communicate on a daily basis, your team, for example, your friends, your mates, your relatives. There'll be change in this environment, change of like new neighbors coming, new people at your work, or just changing the social environment, or new exciting people that think differently and they change your thinking. Your thinking will shift, will become much faster. That's why it said you are aligned to this new times, to AI, to the robotics, or whatever the demands of society are, and wherever Uranus is the new trends, the future trends, and it aligns perfectly with Aries by sextile. You somehow subconsciously know, or your mind will be attuned to the vibes of the new trends, and you align to them. So, but if you want to find out more, I speak much more there in my webinar, which is just $30, I think, for 5 hours. Check it out. Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, April 2026. Taurus, unless you have some planets in Aries, oftentimes Taurus Sun people might have Venus, Mercury in Aries. So unless you have like Ascendant, Moon, or Sun in Aries, it's more of a quiet month for you because you see everything, all the action is happening here in Aries, but your Aries falls for you at the back, your last sign, in your subconscious. So it's in your house of rest. So maybe the changes that are happening will not be so visible for you unless, say, you may maybe have like Moon in Aries or something. Then listen to Aries as well. But otherwise, somehow it's more of a month to take it easy, to slow down a little bit, and to listen to your inner voice, because the 12th house is about going within it and allowing your body to rest and allowing your imagination, your spirit, your soul to be rejuvenated and to receive signs from above. 12th house is the house of God as well, the house of the invisible worlds, the departed ancestors, the unmanifested reality, the true reality, but we're not in touch with it most of the times, especially as Taurus. People are more focused on the real life, which is what you're supposed to do anyway, if you have strong Taurus energy. But at certain periods, like now in Aries, you are asked to pay attention to your internal voice, to your higher self, or messages from the invisible worlds, maybe your dream life. You might hear, you might dream things that show you something. You might have a psychic reading that gives you certain answers. You're receiving now, the action is happening from there in those realms. But it might be a bit harder to sleep. I mean, as an Aries, I just had all those planets here in the 12th house for a while, so I can tell you, you're thinking about, at night, you might be thinking about the problems, or which is Saturn, or what you have to do, Mars, or Mercury thinking over much. So yeah, if this is temporary, oh well, Saturn will be there for 2 years, so maybe not so. But this month in particular can be like overly bit stimulated. But you need this alone time to offload this energy. You need time to contemplate, even alone time, hopefully not into addictive behaviors, because alone time sometimes can be scrolling, can be just passively watching TV, can be consuming unhealthy substances, which is also 12th house. Because we have unhealthy ways of resting. A lot of us will unwind through drugs, through alcohol. I'm not there, not anymore. But that can activate. It's 12th house where humans, if you have such inclinations, realize that they can kind of enhance now. And I'm not telling you give in to them fully. I'm telling you don't beat yourself if you feel a bit weaker in their face, but at the same time, look what's happening. Saturn is joining Mars in this 12th house. These are the two, let's call them most challenging planets, but the two very, that through them we do the most important work. And when Saturn and Mars join together, they start a new cycle. And usually they give us strong resolve and determination through willpower and mobilizing our energy to do something that we've been postponing, that we've been maybe not having the courage to do, that we have not, that we didn't think we had the strength to do, or that it just felt too challenging, or we didn't have the motivation. Now, Saturn and Mars, those tough planets, imagine a general and getting together with some, some tough, both tough guys or girls, whatever, a meeting together in your 12th house of vices, of addictions, of uh, things that undermine you, self-sabotaging behaviors. They don't have to be physical addictions. They can be mental, psychological. They can be your inner enemy that talks down to you, that sabotages you, your self-sabotaging behaviors. They're meeting there to do some hard work, some heavy lifting over the next 2 years, because they're starting a 2-year cycle. I call them the Saturn Mars combinations. They're like Iron Man. They're like weightlifter energy. So you're gonna do some weightlifting with those more hidden and private areas of your life. Eliminate some addiction, some behavior. It might be to social media, it might be, and they're meeting with Mercury. It's a triple conjunction. So it might involve some serious decision there and realization. Mercury is to realize something that allows you to free yourself from an addictive pattern, from a self-sabotaging behavior, or that reveals some secrets to you. 12 houses secrets, things that people might do behind your back that you're not aware of, things that are buried in your subconscious that you've forgotten from, suppressed memories. That those suppressed memories, maybe because they're painful, that why the subconscious suppressed them, and now Saturn and Mars stir there. They're like trying to stir the dredges up so you can filter them, so you can kind of clean that subconscious up. So you can do some internal psychological cleaning. Mars is the cleaner. And no, sorry, Mars, Saturn is the cleaner. So that's some psychological work more. And, or it just might, have intense dreams, or that you're working it subconsciously in your sleep state. Or this 12th house can be that you have something important or decision connected to faraway places, foreign investments as well is the 12th house. Or 12th house is any work that is imaginative, say writing music, that is uh, connected to healing, any work that's connected to helping those in need, like social services or volunteering or working with the unemployed, with the sick, medical fields. Well, if you're in any of those 12 house fields, whether it's in prisons, in hospitals, laboratory, research compartments, um, working with the disadvantaged, helping others, or being invested in faraway places, foreigners, and so on, then you might have a busy month actually, if you're dealing with such things. A lot of things happening there in such careers because of the 12th house. Or if you are artistic or a healer, this is again 12th house. Artistic inspiration, there might be powerful downloads there. Well, for other Tauruses, it might feel like more of a quiet time, or you're working something alchemically in your subconscious, some deep realizations. The 12th house is the house of deep realizations, some serious understandings you can have, some serious, if you're a researcher, you can have some discovery. If you are someone who likes to contemplate and think about themselves and, you know, this is like spiritual work that you do, that you self-analyze, observe. You can have a breakthrough there. By the way, actually, even Eckhart Tolle, when he had the spiritual break, when he went from consciousness of pain and extreme suffering into unity and blissed out state, it happened overnight, but it happened on a Saturn Mars progression. His progress, Mars was conjunct his natal Saturn. That's painful period. And through this pain, you break through on the other side, and you're going to have Saturn Mars conjunction in your 12th house of spirituality, consciousness, levels of consciousness, realizations, connection to God, to the state of consciousness. So for some of you, there might be spiritual breakthrough even if it's through some crisis or some pain realization or through but it can be a very peak experience and there, and releasing some emotional pain and stagnation from the past and moving forward. That will allow you to move forward, to leave the past behind. Or you can be busy in a foreign country or something to do with, but of course, around the period, because this is one of the houses of traveling, around the period from the, let's say, 17, 18, 19, 2021st, that's when Saturn, Mars, Mercury, and the new moons are aligning. So I will be a bit more careful with traveling around those times, but some important decisions will be taken. They might be connected to releasing some weakness, might be connected to something to do with foreign countries, about spiritual discipline, about everything of this 12th house. And 12th house, like, because it's such a most, invisible house, it might not be so noticeable on the external life for you, but it's like some realization, some inner idea that comes, because 12 houses, inspirations, downloads. So you can download something, have some inspiration, have some idea, and start researching it, you know, so, yeah, this is what you can be open to. But after the sun moves from the 20th of April onwards into Taurus, and especially the more it goes into May, and after the new moon in Taurus, which is sometime in May, around the 15th or 16th of May, I'm not quite sure, then you can really implement materially, physically, those new beginnings. But after the 20th of April, you start feeling more energy, more, because the sun, the life giver, comes into your sign. Till then, maybe take it easy, rest a bit more. As I said, 12th house can be when the body is cleaning itself from external influences, shaking astral impressions from others, but so it needs more rest, but it's also shaking off toxic things. So sometimes our immunity is lowered, so we detox somehow. Like I, as an Aries, I'm having all those planets in the 12th house now, so I'm a bit sick and so on. Uh, and after that, after April the 20th, more and more energy starts coming to you. But the most intense period uh, is now still April 21st, 22nd. And the good news is that Venus is constantly in your sign, Taurus, pretty much the whole month, except the last 4 or 5 days. But Venus in your sign, you're blessed, you're protected physically. Uh, so you can do this internal work here, you can rest a bit more, you can uh, let go of things. While Venus makes sure, okay, I'm protecting your body if it's your ascendant in Taurus, or I'm making sure you're comfortable and taken care of, because Venus is the good nurse. Venus is like wrapping you up in a fluffy cotton or cloud, So yes, these you'd have most of the things that you experience materially will be Venusian during this April month. So good things like good food, good company can be, or just feeling more attractive, the comforts of life, even possibilities for money because Venus is connected to those things. So it's just there is this divine nurse that's taking care of you, so to speak. And if you want to charm others, it's a good period now with Venus in your side. If you want to attract people on your side, because Venus is a charmer, Venus is the one that pulls others towards you. So you have very magnetic energy, even though you're a little bit working on the subconscious now and on those more abstract things. But Venus still grounds you on Earth in the body as well. And the other big event is that Uranus is moving signs. It's moving in from your sign. Finally, it's leaving you alone. For the last 7, 8 years, Uranus was in Taurus, which is its least favorite place, let me tell you, because Taurus is a sign that comes to Earth to create stability, and Uranus is the opposite energy. So that felt uncomfortable for many Tauruses. The unpredictability, the ups and downs, the unexpected twists and turns. Taurus is if you have strong Taurus, unless you have a lot of Gemini as well, you're not meant to, you know, well, you are meant to experience this Uranus, but it shook you up. And I'm here to tell you that things get much calmer for you. So maybe this month it's good because Uranus is finally leaving your sign. So many planets in the 12th house. Rest, recover your wounds from the shaky, bumpy, uh, big changes that happened for some of you sometime over the last 7, 8 years. For every Taurus is a different time frame depending on the degrees and so on. But now this highly hectic, nervous energy of Uranus, this impatient, unstable energy is moving away from your sign, and it's moving. And Venus, the nurse, is here most of the month. Uranus is moving on the 26th of April, but Venus, the nurse, already starting to heal you, to create more stability, to make you feel more into your own skin. The 12 house planets are okay, rest, recover, and Uranus moves to the second house. And I've spoken already about Uranus in the second house. It's a big deal. Now it will want to free you financially over the next 7 years. So for you to develop independent sources of income or some new support system, totally new, something that you didn't expect. I became self-employed when Uranus moved into my second house. So, uh, but it's not going to happen overnight. But if you want to find out more, check out my course, Uranus in Gemini. It's only $30. It's 5 hours, and you don't need to know any astrology. I explain it incredibly easy how it will affect you. And many Tauruses have planets in Gemini, so Uranus will transit them, but planets in Gemini do much better with Uranus because planets in Gemini, they love you know, the stimulation of Uranus. They love the newness, the excitement. But you might, for example, have a moon in Sagittarius and Uranus will oppose it. What does it mean? When exactly it will happen? You hear some life stories about what happened in the life of the person, or you might have a ascendant in Libra, or you might have Mars in Libra, even though you're Taurus, and Uranus will trine your Mars. Fantastic. Things will move so fast with your goals and so on. But I go through every possible aspect transit for you to see how exactly it's going to affect you. It's only $30. Check it out because it's a big deal. Uranus shows where all the newest energy. Uranus shows how you're going to align with the robotics and the AI age, because Uranus rules those things. It rules AI, robotics, and how you're going to fare. If Uranus is making difficult aspects to your planets over the next 7, 8 years, it will be difficult adjustment, but you will do it. More disruptive, or if it makes trines and sextiles, it will be like part of your nature. You'll be like, whoa, this is, perfectly. You'll align very quickly what you need to do, how to be relevant with the squares and the oppositions. You will make a big change, but it might not feel so natural to you, but you'll still do it and it will be for good. So check it out to see how this alignment will happen. Thank you. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, April 2026. Gemini, look at this. Uranus is entering your sign at the end of April 26th. Big event. It will stay there for the next 20, oh, sorry, for the next 7 years. And Uranus rules AI and robotics and the new technologies and the new economic, anything that is new. And as you see, everything is changing in the world. And who is best suited to accommodate this now? Who will align fastest and most naturally to this? It's you, Gemini. Whether it's your sun, moon, or rising, you are like born for this time because Uranus rules all new technological developments and super intelligence and whatever. It's entering a sign. I'm not saying you'll become super intelligent suddenly. You're already very intelligent if you're a Gemini, but I'm saying that that you jive, you the line so easy. It becomes part of you with those new technologies. You find your place and you orient yourself into those new technologies, this new market economy, because Gemini also rules the business. You'd orient yourself as if it's your second nature or first nature. So I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of Geminis will take on this challenge of AI robotics or will very easily integrate it, even if you're not into AI, if you don't create AI products yourself, either you'd integrate it very smoothly with your business or with your work or with your lifestyle, benefit in some way, or you'd lead that kind of new trend, you'd lead that wave of changes. Or even if you're like a holistic healer, human touch, that it's nothing about new technologies, somehow you will benefit. And this new reality that's forming of Uranus in Gemini with the AI, whatever, the digitalization of everything, the super intelligence, you'd incorporate it in whatever you're doing. And by the way, in 7 years from now, you're not gonna recognize yourself. you, it's just starting now from the end of April. Only the earlier Geminis will feel it this year. Those first 5, 6 degrees of Gemini, 0 to 6, something like that. But also there, so your life will change. You do, and I cannot even predict what it will be for you because Uranus is like expect the unexpected, the unpredictable. Yes, Uranus for you rules the ninth house, so they can be like new knowledge. You'll be learning new things. You'd open yourself to foreign country, to foreign travel, or to new belief systems and horizons, and you start believing things that were impossible for you to believe before. And once you believe them, you can make them a reality. It's necessary first to believe something. Uh, but yeah, it's huge for Gemini. Your new life begins. I know a few Geminis that they're already like they're either getting married in 2026, having expecting children, or starting careers, businesses, and big things are coming for Gemini, but I cannot very specifically even predict it. I just remember when Uranus was in my sign in Aries and my life changed forever, and I absolutely love it. And you as Gemini, you love Uranus. Why is that? Because Gemini likes changes. Gemini likes uh, things that are exciting, discoveries. Uranus is about discoveries, is about realizations, is about knowledge and wisdom that uplifts you, that excites you, and you connecting the dots suddenly, eureka. And it's not that you all be becoming professors or scientists, but it's like having internal spiritual realizations about your life. Eureka, suddenly seeing through something, breakthroughs, fast breakthroughs, and your life will speed up. Oh my God, it will speed up. It's Uranus is the fastest planet. You're not just and Gemini, anyone with strong Gemini sun, moon, or rising, they like that. It makes them feel alive. It will wake you up. But let's concentrate. I'll speak very specifically about Uranus transiting, whether it's your sun in Gemini, your moon, or ascendant, or Venus, or Mercury you might have there, or Uranus might square your moon in Pisces or oppose your Saturn in Sagittarius. And it might sound like you don't know what is this. But I explained to you how to find each of those planets in my 5-hour course on Uranus in Gemini, and what each of those transits mean and when exactly it's going to happen, and what to do so you can fly through that energy so your life doesn't feel like a wrecking ball, because Uranus can be like a wrecking ball. But so when you're forewarned, you'd feel excited for it and you'd be ready, and you won't think like, what just happened? You won't be caught down with your pants, as they say, with your pants down. And you'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what was supposed to happen. So check out that webinar, especially because your Uranus in Gemini is very important for you. It's only $30. You don't need to know astrology at all. I don't use terminology. I tell you real life stories, and I do the calculations for you pretty much there. Now, the big event that you'll feel in specifically, so towards the end of Aries, and April, your energy can start rising because Uranus enters your sign, the nervous energy, the excitability. It will be there for you for 7 years. I remember when Uranus was in my sign, I felt like I needed to take magnesium just to feel calm down because I was overly excited all the time. It's a good one, but I was like, you know. But let's focus just on April because this is very long term. And just in April, look at this lineup of planets in Aries. This is your 11th house. I mean, everything moves there. Mars moves to Aries, the Sun is in Aries, Neptune is there, Saturn is already there, Mercury from the 15th of April is in Aries, new moon in Aries. Everything is happening in the 11th house. So on an immediate level, you'd feel this Aries at this period, April in particular, as very powerful new beginnings, because 5 new cycles are starting here, 5 conjunctions, in connection to this 11th house with friends, for example, new social environment. But Saturn, because Saturn is part of this triple conjunction of Saturn, Mars, and Mercury around the peak is from the 17th to the 22nd. It happens exactly on the 19th, Saturn, Mars, Mercury conjunctions, 19th and 20th of April. But the whole period from the new moon on the 17th, where the sun and the moon line up, to Saturn, Mercury, Saturn, Mars conjunction after the 20th, it's intense. And some big decisions and important new beginnings can be taken in regards to this 11th house, which is first your social circle, friends. You might even have some difficult decisions about distancing yourself from certain friends or groups or memberships. 11th house is any subscriptions, memberships, groups and organizations we're part of, clubs that we participate with, online groups and societies that we're part of, or actual physical ones, and group activities that we do. Some new ones can appear. Maybe you join a group or a club that can help you pursue a long-term goal of yours, which is Saturn, because Saturn will be in your second house for the next 2 years, and Saturn-Mars conjunction triggers now the start of the important work you have to do in this 11th house, which is, first of all, to organize, to do some important work in a group with larger group of people, or some important work or long-term goal project that will impact larger groups of people. It's usually connected to business or to some social endeavor where you're developing some project or a product or altruistic kind of project, or it might be business project, but it will have wider impact. And now is the time to do the difficult things, to make the difficult decisions, to take on the responsibilities, to make the plans, Mars, Mercury, Saturn, to mobilize all your energies and resources in that direction if you have. Or maybe such opportunity will appear, such to participate in a group or in some business endeavor or in some join into the market system of participation. It's kind of like plugging in into some app or plugging in into some like Uber Eats or whatever, where you participate with large groups of people in some economic endeavor, in some financial endeavor. Such opportunity can come for some of you, but it will require dedication, persistence. I'm not saying that Geminis will become Uber drivers, but they can be other ones, like joining some subscription of an AI program or tool that will help you expand your audience or your clients, because the 11th house is audience, clients, that will help you streamline your business, that will help you organize your long-term goals and plans, Or you might have to do some decisions, some very important new beginnings and decisions in regards to friendships, people in your social environment. Something new can appear to you through others, as I said, groups, friends, like-minded people, peers, people with similar interests. Stay open, because the new waves and those new 5 cycles that are starting come from the house of friendships, opportunity to you through an acquaintance, through not necessarily very close friends, the 11th house, but it can be as well acquaintance, friends, or benefactor as well. But there'll be also demands on you, because Saturn is part of this configuration, to take on responsibility, to do something difficult, to focus and concentrate your energies, to even sacrifice something. Aries is a sign of fire, which is in the 11th house of sacrifice, where we do sacrifice things in fire. Not now, but in the past. To sacrifice something, but for what? For a larger, higher goal. The sun is the larger, higher goal, to sacrifice some comforts, to do something difficult, to mobilize our energy. Saturn is do something difficult, not bad, difficult. Mobilize your energy, make a difficult decision. Focus, concentrate your mental energy for somewhat, for the sun, the higher goal, a vision in the 11th house, long-term goal, dream of yours, to dedicate yourself in that path. For some social economic goal, 11th house is gains. It's your salary, it's the money of your business, it's the cash flow, it's kind of like the money that comes to you, the liquidity. Well, second house is your savings, your assets. Well, the 11th house is where it flows from you. So you might have to take some important decisions on new beginning in gains, how you make gains, economic, financial, salary, bonuses, such kind of stuff. Our 11th house is help from the government. The government is the 10th house. The 11th is the money of the government, the resources of the government. Some of you might be doing, I don't know, like applying for some grant or finding a new opportunity to ask money from the government or some sponsored thing from the government. I don't know. So 11th house, friendships, goals and dreams, social economic goals, but it requires effort, because Saturn is part of the conjunction. But all the good things come only after effort. If it comes, falls on your lap, it's not appreciated. Now you're doing, maybe some of you will start working hard on 11th houses, marketing, how to reach wider audience, how to have more public exposure. 11th house is the public, the society, not just friends, but the wider audience, what they think of you. If you're business minded, that can be very good for your business, for expanding, reaching out, for global, or you might become very interested into global affairs, what's happening in the world, the trends. But it's kickstarting a 2-year period. this conjunction. And the 11th house is again the trends in society. It's like Uranus. Uranus and the 11th house have the same vibration. Uranus is entering your sign, so it's like your pulse goes onto the pulse, your hand goes onto the pulse of society. What are the future trends? It becomes natural to you. It's almost like prophetic. You'd know what society would want, what are the new trends, technologically, whatever. You'd be aligned with that, with the new technologies, and your 11th house gets activated. So double Uranian energy of innovation, being interested in what's happening in the world, and feeling and knowing, predicting the trends, and looking forward into the future, and knowing where it's going. And so it's very good, like an opportunity period, April for you. As I said, with this 11th house, to goals, to how to plug in into the participating economy, how to plug in into to contribute to the world. And 11th house has some very altruistic lines, vibrations to it, just like Uranus is. It's not only business and your money and goals and climbing the ladder and such things and being in the right society and circles and knowing the right people. Uh, it has those opportunistic side as well, but it also, because it's the house of big business, but it also has a very altruistic side where you want to contribute something for the whole world, for society, where you want to, do something on a small level, local level, or bigger level for the higher good of everyone involved, for your other human collective beings, fellow humans. So for some of you, the more inspired Gemini, uh, ones that are at that period in their life that are ready for it, they can be given a mission that is more collective for larger groups of people. 11th house, the house of spreading wisdom and knowledge as well. So yeah, you have the green light. Go ahead. Just Saturn, know that you have to be very committed and you can't cut corners in that level. And Uranus here will make sure that you're very aligned to what is the cool thing, what is the okay, let's not call it cool, but what is the next big thing as well. And another big thing is that Venus is in your 12th house the whole month. So it's good maybe for resting as well, or going on holiday abroad if you want. Or I don't know, like not organizing, like spas, hotels. Venus in the 12th house, I always get the feeling of bed pleasures, what you do. What you do privately, so more intimacy can be easier to access, but those, because you're very busy here, either with goals, with projects, with social activities, because of this 11th house. Maybe some people reach out to you, or reach out to others to do something collectively as a group, or you're involved with what's happening in the world, but social and economic goals. But also Venus here says you can have a good sleep, rest. 12 houses to sleep, the rest, or to escape reality through good spa, good, kind of holiday, or so that's blessed. But just be a bit careful, because the planet that rules you, Mercury, joins Mars and Saturn around 19th, 20th, 21st. Those are the days to be more careful on, but these are the days also when some of the most important events can transpire and decisions. All right, Gemini, big events, big news for you. And if you want to learn astrology with me, come and join me. I'm starting a 12-week course on mapping out your whole life. Now, we're going to be looking at big chunks of your life. So 20 years ahead, the next 30 years, the next 15 years, how they're going to be in different areas of your life. This is what progressions are. It's really mapping your life for 80, 90 years and knowing when it's time for love, when it's time to be single, when it's time to be ambitious, when it's time to rest. Sometimes there's times of 10, 15 years. Take it easy, don't do much. Anyway, thank you so much. And wow, congratulations, Gemini. We give the balls in your hands now. You're in the center, is your sign. You lead us. And yeah, good luck. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, April 2026. Cancer, Look at this alignment. All those planets are going to converge and to join together in your 10th house in Aries. Like everything is concentrated, pretty much most of the planets are concentrated in this most highest house for you, the most visible. This is the house of action, productivity. So even if you don't work or you're retired, you'll be extremely productive. You'll be triggered into taking action this month. And if you're someone who is career driven, who has worldly responsibilities, everyone has worldly responsibilities, this month is action packed. And all those planets, they are starting new cycles. They're in your 10th house. New cycles is new beginnings, and all planets are moving direct. Jupiter just turned direct in March in your sign, so it's protecting you. It's very powerful, Jupiter now. It's a Jupiter that is moving forward, and Jupiter is very happy to be in Cancer. So some very important decisions will be happening for Cancer. All planets moving direct means you have the green light to move ahead. If you are stuck, if you are not sure what to do now, with the planets moving directly, things will clarify for you. And you see, most of the planets are on the angles. The first house, the 10th house, these are the pillars of the zodiac. So it's where the most important events happen when planets activate them. So it's an again very happening month for you. You'll be asked to mobilize your energy to get things going, doing. If it's your career, for example, you feel like a new urge of ambition, new career projects might appear, new career ideas, new career opportunities will appear, new professional horizons will open up for you, this newness of the energy. But it will require dedication and hard work, and even some sacrifices. Because Saturn is part of all those conjunctions, and especially around the 17th, 18th, 19th, when Saturn joins Mars, starting a new year cycle. Then the 20th, when Mercury joins Mars and Saturn, all those three planets around the starting, I would say, even from the 17th, when the new moon is in your 10th house, new moon is Sun and Moon together, starting a new cycle for you there. And then Saturn starting a cycle with Mars, then Mercury starting a cycle with Mars and with Saturn. So some important decisions will have to be taken in regards to your career or in regards to your social status around the, like 17th to 20th, someone in April. This is when the most important events, they might be a bit stressful. Those planets are not easy. And this new beginnings for you might be triggered by provocation of some sort, or by interaction with an authority figure or institution, which is the 10th house, or someone in power, or it might be your inner authority that is being activated, your inner responsible adult that wants to take care of your life and responsibility of your life to do the right actions. And it will require, whether it's in your career, in your worldly responsibilities, in your social status, dedication that you have to dedicate for the next, because those cycles that are starting, some are a few months old, some are 2 years old. The Saturn Mars one is 2 years old, where you'll be required to mobilize your energy, your resources, your willpower to do something difficult, maybe in regards to your career, maybe in regards to your how society knows you. This is your social status. Are you married? Are you single? Are you a professor? Are you employed? Are you unemployed? How are you known in society? What do you contribute to society? uh, what are those worldly responsibilities, and your efficiency in the world. So yes, for the ambitious, for the driven ones, this can be a very productive period that kickstarts now. This can be a period where you commit to some great work, some great opus, as they call it, to dedicate yourself for. And even as I said, Saturn requires some sacrifices, and Neptune is there, some sacrifices of smaller pleasures, so, and sacrificing some ease for something bigger, because the sun is part of these conjunctions as well. The sun is some higher goal, higher vision for your life, how you want your life to be. So yeah, some difficult decisions might be even triggered by, as I said, some crisis, but difficult doesn't mean negative. and you can transform your reputation, you can transform your social standing. And the actions that you take now, because the 10th house, the house of actions, they'll have widespread influence for your life or those around you. So the decisions, the directions that you choose, they'll have long-term influence and widespread influence as well. It will be impactful, and you'll be somehow in the public. As I said, even if you're not a public figure, even if you're not some career person or big boss, and what you do now, it's like others, others will see it. Others will it will be subject to other scrutiny, criticism, or appreciation, depends on the nature of those actions that you take. Or you might be called to take on some new responsibilities and more. 10 houses like in authority, 10 houses responsibility, 10 houses like some executive function of taking important decisions, taking responsibilities of others of certain part of your life, and taking things in your hands, let's say. But there might be also interactions with powerful figures, people in power, bosses, father figures, parental figures, or institutions, as I said. And because Saturn and Mars are a bit cruel planets, I mean, their results can be fantastic, but it doesn't always happen in the easiest way. So you have to, when it comes to interacting with people with more power on authority positions, you have to be a bit more careful. Use Jupiter because Jupiter is in your sign. Be open minded, be forgiving, uh, keep in mind the higher vision, the higher purpose. And if you have to deal with more demanding or difficult, as I said, bosses or authority figures, especially around those critical days that I gave you when Saturn and Mars join with Mercury, just be more conscious. You know, Jupiter is the planet of being present, being conscious, acting from your higher self. Rather than explosive and because Mars, Mercury, Saturn, they can be anger outbursts, they can be confrontations with authority figures, but know that if you handle it wisely, you can have very good results, very productive results to initiate something with institutions, to with a boss, with in regards to your career, you know. So don't think it's a negative thing. But yes, watch for important developments, especially connected to those worldly actions, to your career. Start new things, but plan them very well because Saturn requires planning. Saturn requires you not to cut corners, not to do it, you know, like you need to, as I said, measure 3 times, cut once, but cut. Don't wait around because all those planets will, you know, mobilize you. They will push you to be more get up and go energy. So big events, just transpiring there. Don't be afraid of the difficult. Now you'll be given by the universe the energy to confront the difficult things and responsibilities and duty that was scaring you before. Things that you want to do to contribute to the world, or in regards to changing your social status, to doing something big that you didn't have the energy, you didn't have the courage to do before. Now it will come to you. All right, so big decisions there, new beginnings. Remember, it's new energy. But don't forget, Jupiter continues to protect you. It turns direct around the 15, 16 degree in March, and it will really bless the last 15 degrees of Cancer till July. But all Cancers, because Jupiter is moving direct in your sign, dream big now, move with big actions. Because Jupiter is big vision, new beginnings again in your first house of new beginnings. And as I said, some of you might really change their social status from April, like decide to marry, decide to start being single, decide to start a new career, some big events, you know. So yeah, it is an important month. And then we have Venus in your 11th house. So it's only in April that this happens, but Venus is the easy planet. So where's the easy energies coming from? Uh, Maybe friends can help, a benefactor, a well-wisher, support from your social circle. Maybe go out with friends. It can be a source of support, or speak to friends, or Go to some group activities or lectures or something where you participate with larger groups of people online or in person. And Venus in the 11th house can be good for gains as well. For some reason, 11th house is gains as well. Uh, all right. And then the other big event is that Uranus is moving from your 11th house to your 12th house, and it will stay there for the next 7 years. Actually, it's not aspecting you from the 12th house in any way, but it will shift a lot of the energy. 7 years, Uranus in the 12th house can connect you in unusual ways to the invisible worlds, like suddenly receiving messages from the invisible worlds. And sometimes it's because Uranus is divine wisdom. The 12 houses, you bypass the barrier between the visible world and the invisible world in the 12th house. And Uranus kind of gives you a direct phone line to the invisible world. So it can be like downloads of information or inspirations and ideas that are happening as well, or even dreams that are prophetic of the future. Uranus rules the future. Or dreams that are clarifying for you in some way, or psychic impressions, like starting to see signs and symbols that are very synchronistic, that light a bulb immediately for you. Uranus is like the eureka, I have an answer energy. And it's like the invisible world, or your guardian angels, or your higher self, or God, call it whatever you want, or your departed loved ones on the other side. They give you signs that are very clear, that like hit you in the, and like, oh, your subconscious sends you those signs. And even realizing over the next 7, 8 years, uh, certain behaviors that were subconscious for you, remembering things from the past, realizing, having a breakthroughs, especially about addictions and things that are tying you down, and things that for you are like self-sabotaging behaviors. Having Uranus is freedom, having freedom from such things, from self-sabotaging behaviors. But it's a long process. It's 7 years. So some of you, it might be immediate. Usually the earlier born cancers can feel it now already from the end of April, May this year. For others, it might take a bit longer down the line, but it's freedom. Uranus is freedom from what? 12th house. 12th house is restrictive or addictive behaviors, and having powerful realizations while you do those things. Or it can even be some adventures in foreign countries that appear for cancers. But the truly big event you're going to feel is this whole reality, because the ascendant and the midheaven, or the first and 10th house, are the most important houses in astrology, where the biggest events happen, and they're activated for you. So Cancer for you, of all the 12 signs, together with Aries, I think, you, Aries, and the other cardinal sign, I would say this is the most, but specifically for your first and 10th house activated, this is big thing. So changes, new beginnings, you somehow participate in this because Jupiter is in your first house, your free will is involved there, and maybe expanded vision of yourself and what is possible for you, for yourself, and more faith in yourself, or new opportunities, which is Jupiter in the first house, can trigger this activity in the 10th house as well, in a bigger way, that you take the actions, that you commit to some path, that you commit to some great work of some sort, and that you overcome fear of being seen in the public, or expressing yourself in the public as well, or making a big decision in your life that affects your social status. You'll have the courage now, even if you don't have, you'll be pushed in some way to make those choices. And if you want to find out more about Uranus in your 12th house, because many cancers have planets in Gemini, many cancers might have like Venus, Mercury there, or you might have planets in Sagittarius or Virgo or Pisces, where Uranus will be, the wrecking ball of Uranus will be, it's not only wrecking ball, Uranus is like being shot out into space, brand new, going on a new planet. So where will be this alien and new planet and new progressive, totally out of character, but totally bringing you into a different reality, something that you've never expected you do? Where will it come in your life? Will it be in your relationships, if your Venus is in one of those signs? Will it be in your Uh, if, for example, if you have your moon in one of those signs where Uranus will affect in your personal life, in your family life, so I lead you through this information in my 5-hour course about Uranus in Gemini. You don't need to know any astrology. I calculate this for you. I show you how to do it, what planets you have, when exactly Uranus is going to affect you. And I tell you real life stories how Uranus expressed through those transits for other people. So what you can expect. But yeah, otherwise, Uranus in the 12th house is more about direct phone line to the invisible worlds and downloads of information there. So thank you so much, Cancers. Wow, big month. And may the force be with you. It will be with you. Jupiter is in your sign direct. So stay open for lots of opportunities. Thank you. Your Sun, Moon, or Rising, April 2026. Leo, most of the planets are moving to fiery areas. Your fire, and when, look at that, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, the Sun, Neptune, the Moon will also be in Aries in April for a few days, but all the planets, pretty much most of the most important planets, are aligned in another fire sign, which is very strengthening and supportive for you as a fire sign. It's like your own nature is activated, similar nature to you. So, this is called the trine aspect to you. So the universe is very supportive for you in most of April. And all planets are moving direct. What does it mean? Well, new beginnings, new territories. You have the green light to move ahead, to undertake things. And the ninth house in particular, what is it? It's about a new vision for yourself, for your future. The ninth house is where we envision the better version of ourselves, our goals, our dreams for the future as well is very much the ninth house, our ideals. Uh, what is the best, this better version of ourselves will be mobilized to be a better human being, to do the right thing. The ninth house is very moral. It's about aligning to the vision of your higher self, aligning, like there is the small person that wants what you want for yourself, the selfish part, and there is the higher version of you. We call it the higher self that wants what is best for everyone, what is best for you, and it knows best, even though it's not always conscious for us. But somehow you align to this higher version of yourself now, and your actions become more aligned. It's like synchronistic. To be at the ninth house is the house of synchronicity. When you align with what God wants or the universe for you or your higher self, when your inner self is aligned with that, you go at the right time, at the right place. You meet the right people. It's like we call it luck or synchronicity, or you think about something and you receive a sign from the universe. The ninth house is how God talks to us as well, the ninth and the 12th houses, how your higher self communicates to you. So you see, there is like a lot of planets triggering that ninth house, so a lot of signs will be sent to you now in April, where to head, what the future holds. So things will clarify for you about your path. The ninth house is, if we can compare it, you're walking on a path through a forest, but you're not sure, or maybe there is no path, you're not sure where you are. And the ninth house is suddenly you're lifted up above the trees. From a bird's view, and you orient yourself, where is north, east, west, where is the city, where is so this is what you're given now from this powerful alignment of the ninth house, this bird's view of your life or of a certain situation in your life. Or maybe if you are stuck in something, they say if you keep repeating the same from the same state of consciousness, you cannot solve the problem. You can only solve a problem from a higher or different state of consciousness. And the ninth house is one of those houses where your perspective changes, where you can see the situation from a higher perspective. So from being stuck, you can suddenly find solution or decision or advice from someone or illumination, download from God, from your higher self, or from an advisor, or from a messenger of God. It can come in the form of a book, in the form of something you read, in the form of someone telling you something, or you asking for advice, or someone giving you unsolicited advice even. that can come and give you an answer about a situation in your life. So be open to the opinions of others as well, or be open to uh, also different solutions, because your consciousness can change now for a temporary period. With so many planets aligned there, you have this opportunity to see from a higher perspective things, to get out of a hole, to get out of a difficult situation, to find, okay, even if you don't immediately solve a problem, to see, oh, I see where what the solution will be. Okay, I'll be down, I'll reach it in 2 years, but this is what I have to do. So usually it's a good time when you can plan for the future, because you have this higher, the benefit of this higher perspective or elevated consciousness for a little bit. And so now is the time some of you might can make, because Saturn and Mars are joining, they're starting a new 2-year cycle. Then Mercury is joining Saturn and Mars, all on the 20th, 19th, and 20th of April. So around those days, maybe a few days before, maybe a few days after. And there is a new moon on the 17th in the ninth house. So a lot of the answers come around that period where you make a different, and maybe suddenly it can be very new. Maybe you had very different plans for your life, for yourself. And now this new energy comes, 5 new cycles, 5 conjunctions happening. New moon, sun, moon conjunction, Mercury, Mars conjunction, Mercury, Saturn, Mars, Saturn conjunction, and Mars, Neptune conjunction. 5 new cycles beginning in your ninth house of higher vision, of planning the future, of seeing and aligning to your dharmic path. And you see now what is the right path for you. But it might be different than what you thought. It might be something brand new. Because all planets are moving direct as well. It's not about revisiting all plans. It's about changing something. And some new horizons can open to you, new opportunities and plans for your future. You can get clarity about where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do next. So sometimes people decide to study something. So if an opportunity to study something new appears to you, grab it. It's a very good one, because ninth house is about expanding your consciousness, your knowledge, your wisdom, making a bigger version of yourself. That happens through knowledge or travel. So there might be opportunities to travel. Either they happen in April, or you plan it now for traveling, because those cycles that start, some of them are a few months long, others are 2 years old. The Saturn Mars and the Mars Neptune conjunction is a 2-year cycle. So maybe now it can come to inspiration to plan travel or foreign relocation, or you have some mission or some work to do connected to travel to foreign places, or mission or some important work to do connected to learning, expanding your knowledge, or teaching others. I'll be in a full teaching mode. I'm a Leo moon, so with so much planets in the ninth house, I'll be there preaching, teaching, either pointing the way to others, or you going and expanding your consciousness by learning or starting practices of self-improvement. Ninth house is the house of self-upgrading, self-improving yourself to a bigger version, to an ideal version of yourself that you have. So planets align, and these are difficult planets, Saturn, Mars, with Mercury. You might have to sacrifice certain conveniences, certain ease, or aspects of your older personality and older beliefs and lifestyle, so you can become a bigger, better version for yourself. But Saturn and Mars conjunction there, and the new moon, it gives you the motivation and the drive and the courage. It's a very courageous combination to do the difficult tasks of improving yourself, of making yourself a better version. And the clarity as well. What are those steps to take to expand, to bring more opportunities into yourself? So as I said, very good time if you're starting to study something new. It might be something hard. It might be something, that you didn't consider before even. As well. So educational or planning, and even if you don't start immediately now, you might plan to pre-qualify in the next 2 years sometime, or it can come as a clarity to you, or to travel, to relocate to foreign country, or to work with foreigners, or to go to foreign markets, to bring out your work to audience of foreign people as well. Or it can be about exploring new opportunities that were very unusual for you, that not unusual, but that was something new for you. Teachers can appear in your life, but they won't be the easy teachers. There will be ones that will demand from you. They know that you have the potential, and they can come in the form of actual teachers, coaches, guides, or in the form of a father figure, in the form of an advisor, in the form of a friend, even sometimes, who point you that there is more potential for you, and that try to make out of this rough coal a diamond, that put pressure on you as teachers or as moral guides or as mentors or just like an acquaintance even, that put moral pressure on you to do the hard work. Saturn, Mars wants you to do something difficult, about upgrading yourself, about becoming a better version for yourself, maybe learning, maybe because studying and learning things is not easy. But Saturn and Mars are difficult planets, but they're not bad. It not necessarily means that something bad will happen. It's just difficult, but they would also give you the courage and the willpower and the staying power to do that, and the ability to sacrifice certain lower aspects of yourself for this higher expanded version of yourself in the future. So either plans to study or plans, or just plans, different plans for your future, different opportunities will appear, but they will require dedication and some kind of sacrifice, mobilizing energies and so on. If and just be careful around the exact days of the eclipse. Mercury, Mars, Saturn, I would say from the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, clashes of opinions with others, clashes with, because nine houses battle because they have planetary war, those conjunctions, Saturn, Mars, Mercury. We call it planetary war in ancient astrology, and it's happening in your ninth house of ideologies, beliefs. So, if you're pushing so hard your beliefs on someone, or someone pushing their beliefs on you, or clashes with someone because of what you believe is right and wrong, or you might have to take some, or also be careful about traveling on those days, because ninth house is one of the houses of travel. I wouldn't cancel it if it's something important. I would just be a bit more careful that, to be on time for the stressful situations there as well, or while driving and so on. Also, around this period, some very important decisions will be taken about your future, about where you're going ahead, about your belief systems. Something can challenge your belief systems and your plans of the future, but it will introduce a different perspective into your life as well. And some important decisions will be taken. All right, and if you feel more stressed than normal, don't worry, it's this Saturn, Mars. Saturn, Mars, Mercury, it's not easy energy, but it is very important energy. And if you approach it with wisdom, with faith and trust, it can be very, very positive results out of this conjunction. Then you have Venus in your 10th house pretty much the most of April. So this is good for career. Move ahead with career plans, your reputation, your social image. It's flowing there. The difficult things are about either legal matters, but not bad stuff. Difficult, where you have to put effort to start something, either legal matters or something about a moral dilemma, or something about education or traveling or choosing the path ahead. And especially be careful if you have immoral tendencies or lies, because the ninth house is the house of truth. So anything immoral, lying, or kind of dodgy stuff might get exposed with so many planets in the ninth house of truth. So stick to morality and to your higher qualities, your higher virtues as much as possible this month. Upgrade them and try to dedicate themselves to you. Be in a more connection to God as well. As I said, the ninth house is when you receive signs from the universe. When the higher self communicates to you, you'll be given a lot of pointers. And even if, because Saturn is there, you might say, oh no, I don't want this direction, but you get clarity, and because it might require more efforts, as I said. And trust that intuition. It will be very powerful, those signs. Look for advice from teachers, mentors, guides, even the harsh ones, the ones that are most strict, you know. And they can break some of your illusions and self deceptions, but show you the truth. Or it can happen spontaneously within yourself. And then Venus in the 10th house says, look for help and support, and you will receive it from people in authority, from bosses. If you want to do some presentations in regards to some in your career, in regards to something about your work, do it now. Venus there helps anything to do with your career, with your work. Public exposure is good as well if you have to be in the public, especially till the 25th, 26th of April, while Venus is in your 10th house. And then the other big event is that Uranus is moving from your 10th house, where it's been for the last 7, 8 years, where it totally kind of revolutionized your career, possibly, maybe had ups and downs, disruptions there, or changes. Or maybe it freed you from being a 9 to 5, gave you more freedom, independence, but also created a lot of disruptions because a lot of changes. Oh, Uranus is moving from a square with Leo. It's been squaring. A square is always some kind of challenge, and challenge, especially which is sudden, and it's coming to a much more harmonious aspect to Leo for the next 7 years. It will be making sextile from square to sextile. And this is a closing sextile with Leo, which means in the 11th house, which is reaping of the harvest, reaping of the rewards. And rewards will be coming fast on you. They'll be raining fast and quick if you've done to your life good stuff till now, if especially if you've contributed, you've done the hard work, the rewards, Uranus will unlock them for 7 years ahead. 11th house is financial rewards, social economic rewards, social recognition as well, if you've done the hard work, the right work. And Uranus will renew you for the next 7 years, maybe not immediately from the end of April, but new friends, new people will enter your life. They'll be very beneficial for you. Different friends or social groups you've never thought you'll join now. You'll become members of groups or like-minded people with similar ideologies, with similar goals that can help you with your own plans as well. Also, you can become viral. 11th house is the audience, followers, clients, fans, subscribers, whatever, if you're in any of those fields. You can really grow it fast. Uranus is quick, fast, bam. Uranus rules your 7th house also of popularity and audience, marketing, business. Uranus can free you through some kind of business over the next 7 years. Uranus is innovation, great intelligence, and connectivity with large groups of audience, large groups of people in your 11th house of goals and dreams and long-term goals. So your long-term goals and dreams can have wide outreach. So you can start some big projects that influence large groups of people over the next 7 years. You can be more influential on larger groups of people, somehow even contribute to society or do something important, or spreading knowledge or harvesting previous efforts. So there's a lot more about Uranus in the 7th house, a lot more specific stories I tell in my webinar, which is 5 hours of Uranus in Gemini. Check it out. It's only $30. And you don't need to know any astrology. I explain it in very simple terms. I show you, for example, Uranus sextile your sun, or Uranus might square your Venus if it's in Virgo. Uranus might oppose your Saturn if it's in Sagittarius. And I tell you which year exactly it will happen. Will the change and the innovation be disruptive and require extra sacrifices, or will it be very easy and smooth? And again, disruptive doesn't mean bad. It means more stressful, but the final result can be very good. But I lead you in that webinar through everything that Uranus in Gemini will bring to you, even though you're not Gemini. But it's affecting a certain house for you. It's affecting other planets, either harmoniously or more stressful. So yeah, but yeah, I expect that your social life will get more revived for 7 years with new, different, unusual people around you. They can open opportunities for you because Uranus is making a helpful aspect to you. So those new opportunities will come in harmonious ways. Anyway, thank you so much, Leos. Take advantage of so many planets in fire to mobilize yourself, to get going, to motivate. They'll motivate you. They'll show you the path ahead, and you just need to follow the signs. Thank you. Virgo Sun Moon Rising April 2026. Virgo, first, the very big news is that Uranus is moving from your ninth house into your 10th house for the next 7 years. That's at the very end of April, but the early Virgos will feel it already this year. The Virgos that are born in August will feel it in 2026. And but all Virgos will feel the vibrational change. And Uranus moving from your ninth house to the 10th house, and this is long-term prediction, not immediate ones, but let's start with the long one and then we'll focus specifically on April, is that Uranus will totally radicalize or change your career. For some of you, because Uranus is the planet of freedom, of liberation, it can free you from worldly responsibilities. For example, someone can stop working, retire, or find a way, even if you're young, find a way to be free of the 9 to 5 grind, or to start a career of worldly duties and responsibilities, because still we have those, that give you more freedom, that you can go whenever you want, or that is more independent. Uranus is about maybe starting your own business, being like a freelancer, or starting in a very new field, unexpected, or something that you never imagined yourself to do, or revolutionizing and upgrading and your already existing career through the new technologies. Uranus rules AI, robotics, all of those new inventions, super intelligence, and you'd integrate it somehow. Actually, Virgos will be on the leading edge because it's going to be your 10th house. 10th house is the leaders, the ones that make the changes in society, the ones that lead the wave of a transformation of society through those new technologies. So Uranus, some of you can incorporate into your work or into your life overall those new technologies. And it will be a bit disruptive because Uranus is making a square to you for those 7 years. It might feel out of natural, or it might come as a pressure on you from external forces, but you'll be the one that will make the biggest impact with those new technologies on the whole world around you, on your career, on your life, even though it will require some adjustment. Square, it's like a pressure from outside for you to confront and to comply with those coming changes and to really integrate them into your career, into your effectiveness, let's say, as well. Or Uranus is not always new technologies. Uranus can be any new innovation. So your career or development into the world and can involve some very new alternative paths. So careers that are unusual of some sort, like Uranus rules astrology, rules the esoteric sciences, it rules science, it rules and technologies we said already. So something that is out there on the cutting edge, that is alternative, that is different. Or they can be over the next 7 years, big changes into your, and especially if you're in more kind of freelancing fields, this is fantastic. Uranus will liberate maybe new business, new ideas of some sort. Plus, you as Virgos, you have Gemini in your 10th house, which is 10th house is your career, your how you present to the world, your worldly mission here. Gemini is a double sign, so you can have more than one career as parallel, and Uranus can awaken you to this new potential now. But also, it can create some disruptions with authority figures, with father figures, or with especially people that are more traditional, that want things certain way, while you come with this strong energy that you need to change, to innovate, to adapt to the changing circumstances. So there can be clashes with the already established system, but you're like one of the biggest rebels for the next 7 years. And the world sees it, because everyone will have Uranus somewhere in their horoscope, but for some it might be like an inner rebellion, freedom from some internal things. For you, it's very visible. Like some of you might say, that's it. I'm not going to confront to what society expects from me anymore. I'm just going to quit my marriage or my career and do something that I've always wanted, because Uranus does not tolerate fakeness. Only the truth, only the most authentic thing. You cannot carry on with a job that you dislike, with a career path that is not aligned to your higher principles anymore, that just doesn't fulfill your soul's excitement, because Uranus really needs excitement to keep doing something. And even if you're resisting, it's like a wrecking ball. Uranus comes and takes away things, careers, paths in life, a social status that is not, you're not truly aligned to. Maybe you're not, maybe your life till now was the wife or the CEO or the socialite. It doesn't matter. Uranus comes and says, this is, if it's not truly who you are, and maybe you've been feeling you're not fully satisfied with this social role, with this worldly responsibility, with this career. Uranus comes and does not give you a choice to keep, to keep staying there. Only the truth that is the thing that is most authentic, most aligned to who you are, will stay in regards to your career, in regards to your mission. And a lot of you might, as I said, Uranian direction, technologies, new, it doesn't mean all of you will go into AI. You might be a healer and still incorporate some of the new technologies and the new trends in healing, because Uranus is all new discoveries. Might be new discoveries in astrology, new discoveries in healing, new discoveries. Think whichever field it is, you'd innovate. You'd be innovating it or totally changing it in a new direction. So a lot of exciting things. But I'll teach you in my webinar about Uranus and Gemini how to cope with the square, because it comes usually in disruptive way as or as with pressure. But it can shoot you up to the sky as well, because Uranus is the planet of space travel. I'm not saying you're gonna travel to space, but it can really shoot you up to big heights in your social status, to lots of visibility, or to big viral status almost sometimes, or influencing large groups of people as well. But again, it will be disruptive to your normal nature, because Virgo doesn't like to be so much in the public, is not used to such big responsibility or such kind of Virgo is, kind of like, let me do these things behind the scene, not to, to improve things, whatever. But with Uranus there, you'll be pushed somehow more into the public eye. And your actions, even in your personal life, will be very visible to others. You can create some controversy and break some old patterns in society, and and it will be very visible. Your actions, whatever you do, everyone will see them, and it will have wide-reaching reverberations, let's say. But that's 7 years ahead. Earlier Virgos can start feeling it straight now from the end of April. Later Virgos might take them a few years to get there. But check out the course, because I even say if you have Venus in Virgo, Uranus squaring it, or you might have Venus in or Mercury in Leo, Uranus will sextile it. That's a completely different story. And I tell you how it manifests in life and so on, with great real life examples. The Advent, let's focus now specifically on the month of April. Look at this monstrous stellium. Stellium is like when many planets are in the same sector in space, in the sky. They're all like, all the planets are lining. I don't even have the space in Aries here. They're all kind of lining up in the same area, which is your eighth house. It doesn't directly aspect you, but eighth house is the house of transformations. So for you, this is powerful new beginnings, because the sign of Aries is new beginnings. There are 5 conjunctions. Conjunctions is the start of a new cycle, new energies being infused for you. And some of those cycles will be 2 years long. So something new starts for you, which can feel again a bit disruptive, because the eighth house is the house of sudden changes. Your life suddenly spins around, big transformations. That can really influence you from a few months from now, because some of the cycles are a few months long, like the Mars Mercury cycle. The Mercury Saturn cycle is about a year long. Mars is 2 years old, the cycle, but something can start now that makes a big psychological transformation in you and even free you from old attachments. Like suddenly, like eighth house is the change is so deep and profound, and it's like spinning your internal and alchemical process happens where the chakra starts spinning. Eighth house rules the chakras, all the openings of the body, and they start spinning somehow more and throw out all the toxic energy from you, all the old stagnant energy. So it's almost like, we're going and imagine like a pond and you're stirring it, and all the dross and dredges at the bottom, they come to the surface, and a kind of a purification process starts. But it might feel a bit muddy initially. It might feel like emotional, psychological, uh, you know, during the transformation is like an earthquake for a little bit. But at the same time, uh, it's about eighth house, new beginnings can come to you through, for example, is the house of death and birth. Some of you, it might be like new, and it's something new that's coming. For example, it might be pregnancy. Eighth house rules is the gate of death and life. Life coming, life going. Don't worry, you're not dying, but it can feel like the death of your old ego somehow, and some big psychological realization that allows you to move on to a different stage of your life. Or it can be actual pregnancies for some of you. It can be actual, sometimes like the topic of death can be more present. The topic of life after death. So you might develop interest into life after death or listen to near death experiences more this month. And it continues for a couple of years because 5 new cycles are starting there. We might get more interested in the topic of psychological transformation, where you're reading about healing, about releasing trauma, about the deep psychological motivations, what triggers. It's about epigenetics, researching deep topics. So this is new beginnings and new interest that can come to you about researching deep topics, even astrology, the occult, its eighth house, where secrets are released, or tarot, or forbidden history, conspiracies. You might be very deep into such topics for a little bit. At least in April, it's very strong. Or some secrets can appear into your life. Some secrets can be revealed. Eighth house, the house of secrets. Oh, you might be involved in some secretive actions. Something that is, eighth house is hidden money, organizing your money so you don't pay taxes, or alternative source of income that can appear as a hidden money or extra money. Or it can be new beginnings connected to mutual finances and resources, but they will require effort because Saturn is one of the planets that makes the new beginnings. There's Saturn and Mars conjunction. This is one of the hardest conjunction. So you have to overcome some psychological barrier and blockage, especially ones that is connected to traumas, is connected to compulsive behaviors. But Saturn Mars allows a breakthrough with hard effort, or when it becomes unbearable certain situation where something has more control over you. The eighth house is control or power that comes from something controlling you. It might be a compulsion, it might be a person, it might be a power struggle you have with another. And these themes can escalate now. A power struggle with another, or control, or obsession of some sort. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a difficult topic, but they escalate, but also it's like a breakthrough. It reaches a peak and it can't anymore, and it creates like a breakthrough for you and a new beginning to be freed from that compulsion or obsession, or to realize the psychological reason from it, or for you to take some action areas, to take some action that frees you from that, action that makes you transform this so it doesn't have power over you. A person or whatever. Eighth house, the house of divorces, is the house of bankruptcies, is the house of only lovely things, but it's also the house of big wealth. It's the house of I'm not saying you're divorcing or anything like that, but when people have deep realizations and breakthrough psychologically, they can take some radical action as well, which is a possibility. Sorry. Mm. Also, is the house of sudden healings, just like it's the house of sudden accidents. It rules the all both extremes, uh, like death and birth axis. So sometimes they can be, you hear about death around you that pushes you, maybe in a bit of a painful way. I'm not saying, oh, Virgo, someone will be dying or whatever, but the topic, the theme of death, or the theme of crisis, or the theme of some kind of a catastrophic event is more present in your consciousness by external event or just by internally you focusing on it as an internal impulse waking up within you. And this pushes you to reconsider your actions and to start something new. That even some of the most important spiritual techniques is think about death as if it can happen any moment. How are you going to treat people? Think that the people you're saying now having power struggles with, it can be family members, can be, what if you died tomorrow or they died? Would you still treat them this way? Would you consider this such a big deal? So you can have such realizations that break you through some situation that was intense and painful. So first, such situations can escalate, but second, you have the opportunity now to overcome it. Then eighth house is other people's resources, your husband's money or your mutual finances in a business or in a marriage. Well, there can be some powerful new beginnings there, like an opportunity for you to invest in something, an opportunity for some income to come to your spouse or to you together from an external source or from a different alternative source that you didn't know about. So you see, and it will require effort. Saturn and Mars, the two planets, but difficult doesn't mean bad, doesn't mean something negative. So you have to put the efforts, and it might take 2 years, but the ideas might appear now, or the opportunities for something connected to mutual finances, money coming to you from external sources, or even investments of some sort. It's some new energy, or something to do with stocks as well is the eighth house, or what you do with your 401, is that how it's called? uh, and it might even happen through crisis. Oh, we need to do something about it because it's Saturn, Mars, after all, through pressure. But you initiate those steps, which can give you more financial freedom down the line, because as I said, it can take a couple of years to whatever comes now as theme to be fully fulfilled, or at least a few months. You might have to take some difficult decision, especially around the day. Be more careful for accidents and such things from 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st of April, because Mercury, the planet that rules you, joins Mars and joins Saturn. Triple conjunction on those days. They align, so you can feel like more triggered, uh, more easily getting into power struggles and conflicts and arguments with others triggering you, or especially fighting about values. What is yours? What is mine? What I contribute? How much I do? How much you do? This is the eighth house of values. So what other value versus what you value, what others consider important versus what you consider important, how much you give and receive in relationships, whether personal, business, as in personal, as intimacy, as help, as support, as money, in business, possibly as contribution. So such themes might need to be solved, talked about, or some major decision, uh, or about investments, or about insurances and inheritances. Around those days, as I said, from the 18th to the 21st, second, some important event can happen there. Maybe something to do with taxes, something to do that you need to mobilize your energy, some effort, solve some issue there, or other people money, other people's resources, or support that comes to you from them, or support that you give to them as well. So those themes are very prevalent. These are the material side of the eighth house. The spiritual is, as I said, this overcoming of compulsions, deep realizations, research into those more occult topics, psychological topics. While the material one is resources, so the energy that you receive from the outside, the money, the resources, and so on that you. So that's why it involves inheritances, insurances, mutual finances, and so on. So yeah, they might be such, and as I said, they don't have to be difficult, but they can be difficult. But says you decide to make an investment, a new opportunity investment comes to you from an outside source, or a new you decide to get a loan, so you need to be, more careful financially for the next few years at least. Or you decide to make some financial investment or new source of income coming to your partner, or to money connected through others. So don't, it is financial in nature. I just had a lot of planets in my eighth house from the moon, and it played out quite well. So don't worry. All right. And the other big event is that Virgo's Venus, well, it's not a very big event, but Venus this month is in your ninth house, so it's protecting you. It's looking at you. So I think you physically are well. Venus looks at you, Jupiter looks at you with harmonious aspects. They're both moving direct. These are the two benefics. And they both make direct aspects to you. Those planets here in the eighth house, they don't make direct aspect, but they still influence that area of your life. Well, Venus and Jupiter look at you, so they preserve, if it's your ascendant in Virgo, your health, your body. Your sun, they preserve they take care of your vitality as well. And the moon, the sun, moon, ascendant, they're all connected to health. Uh, but I want you to, as I said, those days, even from the 17th till the 21st second, be more careful. Don't get into dangerous situations, because eighth house has this kind of reversal energy to it, accident prone energy. And with those planets there, just be more cautious. So entering into fights with people about possessions, values, and stuff like that. But if it happens, it happens. You might have to establish certain boundaries there, clarify certain things, make some important decisions for that. Uh, Jupiter is moving direct already in your 11th house till July. Good things come to you through friends, through social groups, through joining like-minded people. You are moving towards a dream or a goal of yours, and even social economic gains can come. Rewards financially. This is the best place for Jupiter, where you receive harvest of previous efforts, financial rewards, social recognition, and Jupiter is, in forward movement. So it's out there. But I was trying to say that Virgo in your ninth house, it's beautiful time. It will happen with ease when it comes to anything you want to learn, taking courses, classes, something about education, university, or if you'd like to travel somewhere. Beautiful time. Again, just be a bit more careful around, especially the 19th and 20th of April, the conjunction of those three planets. But otherwise, Venus, if you're abroad or traveling, is good, pleasant experiences. It's also auspicious to meet people from foreign countries, so from a different social background than you, from a different social economic, kind of like with a higher standing, to do cultural events of any sorts, or educational, to study, to teach. All of those things happen with flow, with ease, or to consult with a coach or a guide to get a direction, because Venus is extremely strong and powerful. The two benefics are very good this month. Venus in its own sign, Jupiter in an exaltation sign, so they protect us overall. And a Venus in the ninth house, as I said, any activities that have to do with faraway places, with travel, education, legal matters. If you have any legal documents or things to arrange, can happen with ease. Yeah, but the big events, Uranus and all those stelliums in the eighth house, that is pushing for psychological transformation in some way. Thank you so much. Libra Sun Moon Rising April 2026. Libra, as a cardinal sign this month, is very pivotal for you, because the major players, all the major events like new moons, full moons, are happening on the line of your first and seventh house, which is an axis of pivotal life events. And Jupiter Another place again on the 10th house, another one of the axes. There's two axes, first, seventh, 10th, fourth. So all the major players are acting on the houses of change and new beginnings for you. And all the planets are moving direct. So we're entering new territories, new opportunities, or new developments are happening. We're not stuck in the past. The energy is moving forward. We need to catch up with it. And just like you with the other cardinal signs will have the biggest impact, the planets will have the biggest impact on you. When planets are on angles, like you see here, all those here in the seventh house, I couldn't even gather them for you in the Aries in the seventh house, and the new moon, the full moon, which starts on the second, third for you, and Jupiter. It's like, the wheel of fortune. It's like when planets are on angles, they spin the wheel of fortune. They spin it. And it's like a new lot comes. So things are moving. Where will the arrow point? What is coming next? And it can feel a bit bumpy because these are angles. It's a wheel, but like I always love to give this example: the cart is moving, but the wheels are square. But you're moving. So you expect some of the biggest decisions, important developments to happen. But let's start from the beginning of the month. On the 2nd or 3rd, on the 2nd of April, there is a full moon in your sign at 12 degrees. So Libras that are born from 10 to 15 degrees, they'll feel very strongly, even earlier degrees, but especially those middle degrees Libras, they can have like a completion of a project, completion of certain phase, some area of their life taking the next step, the next stage taking over. Because full moon is, the moon can't grow any more than that. It's giving its fruits, it's showing its results, it's a culmination. It can feel intense emotionally. Culminations, even though they're eventful, they can be very positive, but they feel intensity, a lot of developments. And it's usually with this full moon about seeing results from previous actions. It can be reward, so it can be the light shone on you for something wrong you did. It depends up on you. But the spotlight is on you. You see, the moon, the full moon shines bright, it illuminates, makes you more intuitive at the beginning of April. It gives you some very powerful intuitive realizations, completions, clarity about something, or the need to see how you can correct that course and change where you've been going till now. And of course, full moon is very much about relationships, and and you taking some decision because it's in your house, in your first house, making some decision for yourself. But relationships and external circumstances play a very big role for you this month, because look where the majority of planets are in there, in your seventh house of others. So you would have to take into consideration the needs of others. So because of others, maybe because of your partner or other people, whether it's, you know, colleagues, friends, or something new beginning will come into your life, because those planets in Aries is new beginnings, first of all. After that, there is 5 new cycles starting in Aries, which means 5 conjunctions: the sun with the moon, new moon, renewal of your relationships, new beginnings, Mars with Neptune, Mars with Saturn on the 19th, Mercury with Saturn, and Mercury with Mars on the 20th of April. So they're really the most pivotal time. Maybe you'd feel a lot the new moon, the full moon, the beginning of April, of culmination of something for relationships, for projects, for something that you began in the past, or being in the spotlight, something being revealed to you intuitively as well, and an emotional kind of fullness of some sort, emotionally vibrant time, the beginning of April. And then towards the 17th, the new moon in Aries, and the 19th, the conjunction of Saturn, Mars, and the 20th, Mars, Saturn, Mercury. So this period after that is very much focused on relationships, the new beginnings, those new cycles. Some of them will belong 2 years. The Saturn Mars one asks you to start something new that will mobilize your energies, that will require effort, maybe with another person. Maybe you, because circumstances are changing in the life of your partner, you need to reorient your life as well. You need to change something about your life, or you need to make a plan together, or take an important, serious decision, Mercury decision, Saturn serious, of plan of action, Mars, about you as a couple or you as a family for the future. And it might be some new circumstances, or something important that you decide, or something important that you decide to do together with your partner. Something new enters into the life of your partner, circumstances that affect you. Or you can start a project with another, business collaboration, or some kind of project, creative collaboration with another. Or maybe another new people enter your life, or a new person that present some challenge to you, because Saturn Mars is a difficult conjunction, but it doesn't mean bad. Again, difficult doesn't equate negative. So another might trigger you or activate you or point out something to you that pushes you in the direction to make changes, to do something new. Maybe they activate you to learn something. Maybe they activate you to change your lifestyle. Maybe they point out something to you, a mistake or a situation that mobilizes you to change your life, or you together with another. Maybe you get yourself like a very tough mentor, or maybe motivator, or another person is like a gym trainer, workout, someone to mobilize, Oh, very good remedy for all those planets in the seventh house, especially Saturn, Mars, is to do something difficult with a partner. Maybe start working out, start playing tennis with a partner, start a project together. Uh, but of course, be more careful around those specific days, because you might enter confrontations with others, especially from the 17th till the 21st, 22nd. Others might press your buttons. Again, even if it's stressful at the moment, whether it's clients, whether it's partner, whether it's some challenge through another person, or in a collaboration with another, it even if it's stressful, it can be for good, that mobilizes you to change something, to do it differently, or in a new direction in some way. They can introduce something to you that first challenges you, but also takes you out of your comfort zone. So others are like your engine now. Others are your biggest teachers. They're also the biggest sources of new developments and new opportunities for you, because of those new 5 cycles that are starting. Yes, you can feel a bit more, you may be a partner or other people in your life or clients, they activate you to change something, but try not to be overly reactive, because Saturn is part of this conjunction. Just count to 100 or wait 2-3 days before you respond. In the meantime, carefully decide what your plan of action will be. It will be some new direction, very likely. And then maybe after the 21st, act after that. But don't like try and avoid other people, because a lot of good things, even though they might be difficult, will come to you from others. Or maybe you are working under pressure with another person, or with a few other people to do something as well, because Saturn Mars is hard work. Saturn Mars is to do something under deadline, so to put extra efforts. Or maybe you want to restart a relationships, to renew it, and you decide to do couple counseling. It is a difficult thing, or to take a new responsibility. Maybe there is a brand new direction that you take together, because Saturn asks for some sacrifice and for some kind of new commitment, long-term commitment, to sacrifice some kind of things that you're used to, that are usually your comfort zone, to sacrifice your comfort zone or part of your comforts, to do something more difficult, maybe because another activates you for that, or points it out to you, or to do it together in some way. And I remember when I had Saturn Mars conjunction in the 7th house from my son, 2012. This is when, or 2011, it was, my partner was really pushing me hard to do my business with the astrology, to do it properly, correctly, with no shortcuts. He was teaching me discipline, how to work hard, because I never knew that before. And I was very angry at him all the time. I'm like, I don't want to work every day. What is this? I don't want to write articles. I don't want to do videos. He was pushing me, but I was angry at him. He was triggering me. And it really started around the Saturn Mars conjunction for me. Uh, and then it lasts for 2 years after this conjunction. But thanks to that, something really good was born. So another can play the not the devil's advocate for you, but the harsh taskmaster. Don't get upset with them, even if they're not close people you love. They might be someone that you feel like, oh, open animosity or open attack. It's for good. They're trying to, it's like a boot camp training that comes to you from another to refine this diamond that you are from the coal. And sometimes the universe needs to use some more heavy-handed methods because Saturn, Mars, it's not with a feather. They push you, oh, amazing, you do it, do it. It's kind of like you do it or, like I had a condition, you do it or we can't be together. I don't want a wife that just sits at home and moans all day long. That's what my partner said back then. Anyway, I just told you my story as an example, but it can be in a very different way that it's presented to you. But just the sense, the energy of it is similar. It can also mean that you take on some responsibility together with another, whether it's for business, for a child, for property, something like that. Or you take a big decision that changes the direction of your relationship. You kind of like, okay, I want more freedom there. I don't want this. It can be such an important one as well. And Jupiter is moving direct in your 10th house of social status. Actually, both the 7th and the 10th house are connected to career because the 10th is truly your career, your mission in life, your worldly responsibility. And the 7th is the 10th from the 10th. So it has, again, direct relevance to career. 7 rules business partnerships, and rules the public opinion of you, just like the 10th house, very similar. So 2 very career-focused houses are activated with the most important planets in April. So it is go time there. Jupiter is moving direct, it's protecting overall the public opinion of you. Whatever choices and actions you take now, it would have a good, almost like they're inspired by your higher vision, Jupiter, by higher forces are guiding you there, your higher self. But whatever actions you take now, even if they're a bit difficult, as I said, these are not the easiest of planets, they will reverberate for a long time. They'll have the decisions that you make now, the actions that you take, they'll have a long-term influence on your life, even possibly for 12 years ahead, because Jupiter cycle is 12 years. Now it's being activated by the squares to it this month. And it will impact your career and worldly status and position for a very long time. So some of you might decide to be free from certain career or certain social construct like marriage or whatever. Others might just the opposite, decide to commit very deeply and take on extra responsibility through career, through work project. And you have the green light to move forward with Jupiter in the 10th house, especially with such big life decisions like career, marriage, and social status. So yeah, be as proactive as possible, but don't rush because planets are moving ahead. They want you to act. They're in houses of action, in houses of big changes and decision, big topics like relationships, business, career. But Saturn is part of this whole configuration. So any rush decisions or cutting corners, so doing it not in the established traditional ways, but trying to do it in somehow in the smart pants and to do it from the back door. No, it needs to be in the socially acceptable, traditional, lawful way. If you keep this stipulation in mind, everything will turn out great. And otherwise, transgressions, like moral transgressions in relationships or such stuff, can be punished because Saturn is very, active this month, with basically with Mars activating it, with Mercury activating it. So you need to have moral responsibility towards others. You need to take into consideration their needs as well. And you need to take on extra duties with connected to others in some way as well. So big month, Libra. And the other big event though is that Uranus is moving from your 8th house, where it's been for the last 7-8 years, which is financial house, and house of investments and secrets. And so maybe, and Uranus did not feel that comfortable in Taurus. It's a sign of fall. And this is where you need to be most stable as a Libra, because Taurus is where are we most stable, and you need to be most stable in your intimacy, in your finances. But there's been ups and downs or changes. But now Uranus, and kind of shocking surprises, revelations of secrets. But now Uranus is moving to a very supportive house for Libra and will stay there till 2033. So this is a long-term prediction. The early born Libras, the first 5-6 degrees, so possibly like the September Libras, will feel Uranus already in 2026. All Libras will feel immediately the energetic shift from after the 26th of April. But the later Libras might feel the exact events in the next years, but keep that video so you have an idea what to expect for the next 7 years. Uranus will be trining your sign. Energetically, great support. Things speed up in your life in a positive way, not in a way that you have to catch up with events, in a way that you feel more energized, more open to adventures and new opportunities. 9th house is the house of luck, is the house of your higher self. So downloads start happening much more easily after the end of April, after 26. It's almost like the 9th house is the house of the life, the direct phone line to God or to your higher self. So like you connect, your intuition develops more, your ability to tap and see the future. 9th house is seeing the future, planning the future, and Uranus is clarity. You suddenly know what the plan is. You suddenly have a vision where you have to go and what you have to do. And it's with sudden downloads, I don't know if it will happen straight away for all of you Libras, but gradually after Uranus enters Gemini, all Libras sooner or later will experience this kind of download and, okay, I know what to do. I know what is the next step or the next 100 steps ahead. From a bird's view, it gives you a perspective and you know it. And also it's about truth. It will reveal you a lot of truth, and it will. Uranus is a wrecking ball. It destroys the old belief systems and brings in new, more truthful belief systems. Maybe you'd abandon old teachers and old faiths, old political and ideological affiliations, and embrace a brand new belief system. And when your belief system changes, so does your whole reality. And Uranus usually removes barriers. It's the planet of freedom and makes you the planet of space and the cosmos. And suddenly you start realizing there's much more opportunities than I was aware before, and you'd embrace them. Uranus also can introduce you to adventures or opportunities through abroad, through higher education, through learning something over the next 7-8 years. And you become very excited about learning with Uranus in the 9th house. You become open-minded about new perspective, new people, new cultures, new religions, like if till now you're like, oh, look at the Muslims, oh, look at those Christians, oh, look at those, whatever you judged by color, by religion, by sexual affiliation. Uranus through the 9th house breaks down those patterns. I'm not saying you kind of everything is allowed, but you kind of start seeing through scruples and such kind of I forgot this word, what it is, judgments and so on, and your consciousness expands a lot more. And you become more open-minded, let's say, and more opportunities present to you through that. And opportunities to study, to learn, and to travel. There might be a lot of traveling and surprising without you expecting that a lot of movement traveling, but Uranus loves being in Gemini. So you'd love that experience. It's not going to feel disruptive. unless you have planets in Sagittarius, Virgo, Pisces, where Uranus will square or oppose, then it can feel more disruptive. But those travels, this education, this connection to people from distant lands or foreign places or different social status, then it will feel very natural to you. And of course, if you want to know if you're going to have disruptive Uranus transits as well, because you might be Libra Sun, but you might have Venus in Sagittarius, or you might have Mars in Pisces, or Saturn in Virgo, and Uranus squares those or opposes, or you might have other planets in Aquarius and Uranus trines. So those new opportunities that come to you, these new revelations, can either come harmoniously without disrupting your life and changing it too much, but it's just expanding it, or they can come a bit like a wrecking ball that clashes with what you always thought you want from your life, uh, more disruptively, but also still a big upgrade. It just needs more adaptation. So you can find out this through my course. It's 5 hours on Uranus in Gemini. It's only $30. And you don't need to know any astrology. I lead you step by step to find exactly where your planets are, when Uranus will aspect them, and what it means, with a lot of stories. So check it out. But Uranus in the ninth house, Uranus also rules the new technologies, AI, the robotics that are coming, the digitalization of the world. Well, you, as a Libra, because Uranus is trining you, you'd align yourself very easily for the next 7, 8 years. No matter what business you have, you might be in healing, you might be in massage giving, you'd incorporate the new technologies in that with ease, without that stressing you, almost like you are naturally ready to upgrade. With, I'm not saying you implant yourself with chips and stuff of any source, but somehow the new changing socioeconomic environment because of AI and robotics and whatever, because you're Libra, you'd benefit from it. Uranus, all those new things, it's in your ninth house, lucky house of vision, of providence. So you have the right intuition, what to do, how to assimilate into this changing environment, how to adapt to AI, digital technologies, and to, in a way that brings new opportunities for you and that makes you harmonize with the changing time. So that's the good news, but a lot more I can tell you. So big month, Libras. Some pivotal decisions will be taken here. Another person or external sources play part in that decision that you take. Big changes, maybe even career-wise, or for your social standing and the direction you're going. And watch what comes to you from others. It's going to be very important. Thank you. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, April 2026. Scorpio, Uranus is finally leaving you alone. For the last 7 years, Uranus was in the opposite sign from you, which is Taurus, directly aspecting you. And Uranus is a disruptive planet. Uranus makes a lot of changes out of the blue, and especially that came to you through relationships, so through external sources or through others. There was a lot of ups and downs and needing to constantly kind of adapt. But Uranus leaves you, and for the next 7 years, it's not going to make any direct aspect to you. So I'm not promising you that there will be absolutely not absolutely everything will become seas or whatever, because you're going to have Pluto, some of you, aspects, but at least this disruptive, sudden, out of the blue energy of Uranus leaves you alone without any direct aspect. So the waters come down, especially in the external life for you, and in your relationships. And especially for some of you that couldn't keep a relationship stable, that had a lot of on and offs, things or disruptions, separations, not only personal relationships, but with other people, new people coming, leaving their life. Now things settle there, and Uranus moves into your eighth house for the next 7 years. That's from the end of April 2026. That's more like a long-term predictions for 7 years ahead. I'll focus also specifically on April, but just so you have an idea what to expect. And Uranus loves Gemini, and it's the changes, it will still affect you, but from the eighth house. And Uranus eighth house is one of the financial houses. So it's more asking about financial freedom here, that you might be working for the next 7-8 years. And from alternative sources or through other people's resources as well might play a big role in your ability to liberate yourself financially, because Uranus is freedom. Eighth house is other people's resources, whether it's their talents, their skills, or whether it's their money directly, whether it's your partners or business partner or people you work with, their talents and their skills. This can bring opportunities for you for liberation, for freedom in some way. And plus Uranus through the eighth house on the psychological level helps you cut connections suddenly, because Uranus is like a laser, zzzt, cuts from very deep attachments. Eighth house is the things that we're obsessed with, that we're compulsive about, and we don't know the reason why. It's like deep psychological reasons due to traumas, due to past lives, due to ancestors, due to the DNA that we carry. Eighth house is the DNA, the inheritance we carry in our genes from hundreds of ancestors, their subconscious memories, your past life, also traumas. So Uranus cuts the connection with those. So psychologically, and the eighth house is the chakras. Uranus is a very fast planet. It will speed your chakras faster over the next 7-8 years. And that fast spinning of chakras is kind of like this, like, when you spin clothes, how it starts spinning out the toxins and the poisons and the dirt from the clothes. It's century whatever. So this will be like, cutting off, dispersing, throwing out all the traumas and the connections. It can be still feel a bit turbulent psychologically, emotionally, but it's an internal transformation, internal liberation, especially from the connections with ancestrals, curses, karmas, traumas, and so on, that you can cut. What's that called, like the cord there. Or maybe there is a person you're obsessed about, or maybe there is a addiction or substance or habit that it's compulsive in nature, that has power over you, that is obsessive. Uranus again can help you sometime over the next 7 years. I cannot tell you specifically, exactly when, because it's a general prediction. Because Uranus, for example, can make maybe when it makes an opposition, if you have planets in Sagittarius. So if you have planets in Aquarius, it will trine, or in Pisces, it will square, or in Virgo, Libra, when it aspects another planet in your horoscope from the eighth house. This is maybe the time of the psychological liberation that happens, cutting connections suddenly with someone, with something that has power over you. Actually, if you take my course on Uranus in Gemini, which is only $30. It's 5 hours and you don't need to know any astrology. I recorded it. I lead you exactly how to see where all your planets are. And I speak about each aspect, what it means. It will show you exactly when you're going to have this cutting of cords and being freed psychologically from something. Plus, Uranus there wants to liberate you, as I said, materially or from dependence on another. If you've been dependent in some way to another, it can cut the cords and free you, either materially or emotionally in some way. And as I said, it can bring opportunities from others' resources as well, but new ones. Anyway, and this is also a transit of astrology, learning such kind of esoteric occult topics. But you can check out my course as well if you're interested more in that. Now let's focus specifically on the month of April. Look where the temporary influences are, but the ones that you'll feel the strongest in April. This was when we talked about Uranus more long term. Everything is in the sixth house. Look at that. Everything. New moon, sun and moon joining on the 17th of April. New beginnings. New moon is new beginnings on the 17th of April in regards to work, in regards to new work project, for example, or health. Also, Mars conjunct Saturn on the 19th of April. This starts a 2-year new cycle where you have to do something difficult, where you'll be given like a new, let's say, challenge to work on or new goal. Let's not call it challenge. Let's call it like a new mission, great work where you have to put your efforts. When Saturn and Mars is mobilization of your all resources, physical resources, focus, Mars and Mercury. The three of them are joining Mars, Mercury, and Saturn in a triple conjunction. So you can see it better here. On the same day, on the 19th and 20th of April. So maybe some important decision and new developments will happen to you in regards to your work, in regards to your employees, in regards to your work process. You know, maybe starting a new job, maybe starting a new project, maybe hiring a new employee, maybe something new you have to do towards a project that you're working on already, some change of direction and extra effort. But it requires extra commitment, some sacrifices, and more efforts. And it might take 2 years for you to those new directions that you have in regards to work, employment, to make them happen fully, because the cycle is 2 years old. But now you'd be given the beginnings of this. You'd be shown what is the direction you have to go in and the efforts to put. Sixth house is also health. So one of the best ways you can use this really powerful activation in April is to start now to initiate the plan of changing your daily habits and routines, which is the sixth house. Take on some challenge. And if you didn't have till now the willpower to maybe stop smoking, to usually this is new beginnings, to start some new routine, like to start working out, to doing yoga, or drinking your greens, or taking some healthy supplements, doing some blood work and seeing what's missing. This is everything that you do for your health. You will now have the courage, the persistence, and sometimes even when we know what we have to do, we like don't have the staying power to take every day our vitamins, to do every day the walk that you have to do. But now Saturn and Mars give really this Iron Man resilience when they join together. So you'll be given this opportunity to, even though it's hard, it can be very positive to do something hard about adding some better health routines in your life. Now is the time. Nothing changes your health better than Saturn in the sixth house, and now it gets activated by Mars, the planet of action. So now is the time to start working on it. Within 2 years, you'll feel great results. Maybe you'd have transformed some health issue, you'd have tackled and being able better to regulate some health issue and to manage it and to take it fully into under your control, rather than this disease or this chronic condition or this health imbalance ruling your life. And even if you don't want to do it, you might be forced to kind of take better care of your health, to do some diagnostics or whatever. I'm not saying you'll find out you have some scary disease or anything like that. It is just you need to be more cautious, especially some important decisions can be taken during the conjunction from the 17th till the 21st, where all the planets are joining there in 5 different cycles, conjunctions. So it's either health, either work, daily habits, imbalances, addressing some imbalances in your life and working hard on them. And a sixth house is also enemies. So, this is the house of people suing each other, people accusing each other. So especially around from the 17th till the 21st, be careful, because it's more likely for arguments, for accusations, for acting out you or others towards you, for clashing heads with enemies. So those perceived enemies. The biggest enemies are usually our own unhealthy behaviors. So it's good time to tackle those, or just try to be more careful about confrontations. But sometimes that's exactly what might be needed when those planets conjunct Saturn, Mars, Mercury, to escalate, so that you address things that you consider unfair, unbalanced, because sixth house rules all of such situations, that you address them and that you state your boundaries and you state your requests. Also, Yeah, so also be careful of aggressive people or someone that can harm you around the time. I'm not saying it will happen, you know, I'm just saying the worst case scenario. And so just because Mars is your planet, you are Mars, and it will be with Saturn. So Saturn says, be cautious, don't act out quickly, don't be hot-headed. Consider your actions, especially around those days that I said, the 17th, 20th, 21st, 22nd of April, with the peak on the 19th, the 20th. Just you might even feel like it's a blockage to your actions and what you have to do. Like something is blocking you. It's maybe the universe preventing you, you know, not to rush too quickly. But some important decision might be taken. Some important decision after certain event about uh, about that area of your life. All right. What else is sixth house? Is the house of debt. If you're in some kind of debt to someone or financially or emotionally, Saturn Mars here can mobilize you. Okay, I want to take care of that debt, so I'm not indebted to anyone anymore. Like, maybe remortgaging a house or starting to pay off a debt. So that requires a lot of sacrifices, mobilizing your energy, using the power of no, which is Saturn. But you have a 2-year period during which you can tackle such a problem. So yeah, and enemies, when it comes to enemies, Saturn and Mars are very good at fighting with our enemies. I'm not saying go fight there, start battles, but if it happens that you're in such a situation, usually you're the one that wins when Saturn and Mars are in your sixth house. But again, not with brutal force only. You need to be cautious and mature in that response, which is Saturn, and act, more in a planned way. All right, so this is the sixth house. I mean, it's and also great time to do cleaning. Sixth house is cleaning, organizing. Use this heavy energy of Saturn and Mars to do the heavy lifting, because Saturn and Mars are like heavy lifters together. Do some, reorganization of your office, of your work, of getting some work, difficult errands and tasks that you've been postponing that requires more focus, more kind of like a donkey there to work, you know. You have the motivation, you have the perseverance to do those boring, mundane things or those difficult tasks, like the chopping of the wood and I'm talking figuratively, even though it might be great. Just go chop wood if you can or clean, that's a great remedy. And of course, be careful about your health around those days or this whole month of April. So it can trigger some inflammatory or more Mars is inflammatory conditions, or Saturn is kind of some chronic conditions. If such things happen, if any health issue appears now, because this is the house of imbalance of health, this is a big sign for you that this is the time to go in a new direction with your health. Like possibly new routines, possibly new diet, exercise of some sort. Nothing too strenuous again, but something consistent, because Saturn is the bigger planet there, consistent. But so health issue can force you in that direction. Or your internal impulse can be like, it's high time now that I do something about my health. And you start acting on it. Again, Saturn, Mars will give you the staying power, the courage of a gladiator. And yeah, we spoke that work. That can be the new beginnings with work, to take on some big project or something that requires a lot of dedication as well, efforts. Health, that, all right, I think that's a lot of it. And the good news is that Venus is in your seventh house the whole month till the 26th, somewhere approximately, most of the month. So it's looking directly at you, and so is Jupiter. So yes, we have Saturn, Mars joining planetary war, the two malefics, but it's making you do something very productive here. Clean up, organize, put order in your life, better habits, better routines, get a lot of work done that is difficult, that you've been postponing. Usually mundane material work, work of a, it might be mental, but duties, errands to get them down. Saturn and Mars tackle such. They're not afraid. They put the efforts. You put the effort, not they. They push you in that direction. But also there is a lot of good influences for you, Scorpios. Venus looking straight at you from its sign, its own sign. So you're protected physically, even if there's some health issues. You're protected. Your overall vitality and health is the first house. Here you're just being asked if some problems appear, even if they don't, clean up your game, be more Spartan when it comes to your daily routines. Well, Jupiter is making trine its best, strongest aspect, and it's moving direct. In March, it turned direct. It was retrograde, so it wasn't as strong till then. Now, turning direct, it has full force to protect you, to give you opportunities. Till July, it's in your ninth house of opportunities. You see the bigger picture. You align yourself to inspiration, to the right path, to you're seeing the path you have to take. You receive answers. The universe gives you answers. For whatever you have answers now, connect to your higher power, ask for signs. The ninth house is the house of giving us signs. Till July, you can get very powerful signs. You can get very good, positive mentors, role models in your life. It's fantastic time to teach, to study, or travel. Of course, be a bit more careful around the 19th, 20th because of the Saturn, Mars, Mercury conjunction for travel, for anything, for accidents, all of those things. I warn every sign. But the rest of the time, until July, Jupiter direct in your ninth house. Mwah. All planets are direct till July. Jupiter, these opportunities to travel for foreign places, for connecting to a better version of yourself, improving yourself as a human being, morally, spiritually, uh, getting answers from above, or God sending you messengers like a couch advisor, inspirational figure, just a book or a message. And Venus in your seventh house, specifically in April, good time for relationships. The of course, those days that we mentioned, they can be a bit tense, but Venus in your seventh house, someone can give you a helping hand. Your spouse might be nice. So you can even meet someone romantically. Venus in its own sign. It passes there every year and a half in your seventh house, but still it's a trigger combination for some Scorpios for meeting, uh, uh, going on dates, having a positive development through another person, someone helping them, not just romantically, just help from another, charming another person in some way, better relationships with others. So thank you so much, Scorpio. Yeah, Gemini moving into your eighth house, all these planets in the sixth house. Yeah, you need to be more responsible now. Get the things that need to be done, get them done now. Sixth house, take care of business. Sixth house. This is where all the planets are. But there is also a lot of good energies. Venus helping you, Jupiter helping you, relationships, something good can happen there. Thank you. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, April 2026. Sagittarius, look where all the planets are, like the influencers do. Look where they are in another fire sign. So when planets line up in another fire sign, they help you. The whole universe aligns because you're fire, and those planets here are moving into fire sign, into Aries, and they're sending a trine to you. Fire helps fire, inspiration, motivation, drive, ambition. They're all more easily accessible because fire is it's like more fire feeding into you. And in March, we had most of the planets, and for many years actually, Saturn, Neptune, for the last 3 years in particular, and the North Node in Pisces, which is a water energy. It can be more draining. They've been in your fourth house, and also in March 2026, there was a stellium, many planets in Pisces, so it's more introverted, more emotional, more kind of slower, heavier energy. But we want to burn with fire. I mean, you are. I'm not Sagittarius. And you'd feel that. You'd feel this like a dopamine syringe into your butt. And you'd be like, ooh, I feel more natural. And they're all moving. Mars is moving into your fifth house. The sun is there. Saturn and Neptune moved already. And earlier they'll stay there for many years, but the sun moves for a month now. Mercury from the 15th moves from the 15th of April into your fifth house. So look, and new moon on the 17th of April, new moon renewal of what? Of the fifth house. New beginnings there. There will be five conjunctions. Conjunctions is about starting of new cycles, new energy inflow into you. And what is it about? The fifth house, about zest for life, excitement for life, even falling in love with life. So this energy is poured out into you so you feel more alive, more willing to make adventures, to experiment for romance, to fall in love. I mean, with so many activations, there you can really put yourself out there. Fifth house is the house of celebrity, being on stage, being in the center stage. So some of you might even if you're afraid from being public or from putting yourself out there, now Saturn and Mars conjunction, it's about doing something that you're always afraid of, something difficult. So putting yourself out there, uh, or even fifth house is our creative projects. So maybe you've always wanted, and hobbies and things that we do to make us feel alive. Maybe you always wanted to parachute, or maybe you suddenly have this urge to do something that you were afraid to do before. Parasailing, skiing, I don't know. Think of something. And you can do it now. Because Saturn Mars is this kind of a superhero combination that appears always in the most difficult situation and is not afraid to do them. So yeah, this can kind of be more adventurous, but be careful when Saturn and Mars are exactly conjunct. And they're conjunct with Mercury, triple conjunction on the 19th, 20th of April. Not to take too big risks then, because it's an accident-prone combination. Yes, explore new things the month, most of the month, just those 3 days, even 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, be more cautious. But you might have to take some very important decisions in your life around that time, because Mercury is to consider a new, because it's starting a new cycle, uh, some, to consider some important new decisions, and serious decisions. Saturn is there that require efforts. They might be connected to your children. Fifth house is anything that we have created. I mean, through the help of God, but a child is your creation. There might be some challenges as well, because Saturn Mars conjunction around the 19th is not the easiest. It's two challenging planets, but challenge doesn't necessarily mean negative, that you need to undertake in regards to a child in your life, or that you need to take some responsibility there and make a decision about something connected to a child, or they're starting some new phase and you need to help them in some way, or you might have to do some important decision in regards to a romantic partner, because fifth house is all the people we really love a lot, like our children, the people we're in love with. Romantic partner, it's your romantic life, how you receive and give love. So there might be some important decision that has to be taken romantically this month because of this triple conjunction with Saturn, Mars, Mercury. So especially around those days, 17th, I would say, till 21st, 22nd, your children might act out more. You might have some power struggles or fight with them that leads to a decision you make in a new direction. So don't overreact. Just know the universe is pushing you to consider something new in regards to these relationships, in regards to the routines of the child, or how you deal with the relationship, or in your romantic relationship, even if there is escalation or power struggle or some fighting possible. Again, it's pushing you to renew this relationship or see it take a new direction with it, or even start a new one. It might be like a new romantic interest appearing for some of you. Or it might be, as I said, some new hobby that appears, or new interest, and new fifth house is not just hobbies, but creative projects. So if you want to do a website, if you want to start a business, anything that is your own baby with your own original ideas, that is not some job that you do, that you really have passion for, that you really have vision for and excitement. It's like you create it according to your own vision. This is the fifth house. In the fifth house, you're a co-creator with God. In the sixth house, you're a servant. You go to work, whatever. But the fifth, especially if you're entrepreneur, startups is the fifth house, business, your own business if you have. Well, something can appear as a vision for you. Something can appear now, the seeds are being seeded. The conjunction is just the beginning of something. It might take 2 years for you to unfold it, but you're starting it now. That is an idea or with the first actions now, and it will require commitment. It's not going to be easy because Saturn Mars conjunction show where for the next 2 years you would have to mobilize all your energy resources, a bit like do some heavy lifting there, do some sacrifices, but for some larger goal, for some larger ideal, which the sun is also there. The sun is for some to sacrifice your energy, resources, efforts for some greater, grander vision. And possibly like a new idea that you have, new creation of yours, commitment to a new child, commitment to a new romantic relationship. But again, as I said, it can start with something difficult. And even if there's sometimes a heartbreak, because fifth house is the romance house. Are we loved? How do we love? It's again pushing you to go in a new direction for some reason. Yeah, but okay, you said it's going to be a good month, and now you're saying all those scary things. Well, because the planets that are joining in the fifth house are a bit heavier, but they want the fifth house is good karma. The fifth house is uh, alignment and synchronicity, just like the sixth house. So whatever happens, it will activate you to create, and you'd be proactive. You're not just sitting around waiting. You'd be to go after a vision of yours, to go after, to fulfill, to materialize, to work hard on something that you're excited about, creative vision or no. And as I said, even to take some very important decision romantically or in regards to children, in regards to to take on a challenging hobby, to take on a challenging, fifth house is the house of learning. In ancient astrology, this is the house of students of learning of, so maybe study, learn something that you master, that you put efforts towards right now as an inspiration, as a new beginning. All right, and the other big event, Sagittarius, is Uranus is moving into your seventh house. It's gonna stay there till 2033. It's happening on the 26th of April. And so you immediately start feeling a shift because Uranus directly will aspect you. And especially when the change happens, within a couple of weeks or a month, you feel the shift very strongly. And it's almost like you start feeling more energized. And this planets in fire are helping as well with energizing you. But with the creative vision, with becoming more creative, more visionary in a sense, having some inspiration. But the moment Uranus moves towards the end of April in your seventh house and directly opposing you, you're gonna feel like this nervous energy, excitability, and restlessness coming for you. And you're already as a sign are a bit restless as Sagittarius. So the next 7 years, there might be a lot of changes in your life that come to you externally even, and that come to you through relationships, that come to you through others. A lot of new people will enter your life, Sagittarius, for the next 7 years. And even relationships that you never expected you'd have, unusual, maybe with someone much younger or foreigner or different religion, something unusual, different, someone that you said, oh, I'll never be, or never, you never even considered you can be in such a relationship. I'm not saying losers or anything like that. No, 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 but exciting. It's like butterflies. It's like someone that, and it doesn't have to be romantic necessarily also, but you see so many planets in the seventh house of romance. While in the fifth house of romance, while Uranus moving into the seventh house of suddenly opens the gates for brand new, different people for you that turn your life around, that come in like wrecking balls and rearrange your planets, and it happens very fast. I don't know when exactly it's going to happen for you, Sagittarius. Depends. If you're Sagittarius at 20 degrees, it can happen in 3-4 years when Uranus reaches 20 degrees. If you're Sagittarius at 3 degrees, Sun, Moon, or Rising, it can happen now, April, May, June, July this year. Uh, if you get my course Uranus in Gemini, I show you exactly what degree you are. I walk you through. You don't need to know any astrology. And I show you, okay, this is the year Uranus exactly opposes your sun or moon or ascendant in Sagittarius. And this is exactly the events that you can expect to happen, so you don't think like you're going crazy. The moment Uranus entered my husband's seventh house, that was 10 years ago, he met me. So he's never met foreigners before. And suddenly he meets someone totally different, cuckoo person like me. Uranus is astrologers, alternative people, foreigners, people that are out there, people that you've never dated before, people that turn your life around. And suddenly he's living in foreign countries. He's never been outside of America, and suddenly Uranus turns threw a partner his life upside down. He met me on Uranus in the seventh house. And many astrologers will tell you when you meet someone with Uranus in the seventh house, they don't stay in your life. They can stay if they are Uranian in nature. And if you are naturally, attracted to such people, but it's someone, and they don't have to be, as I said, the people that appear in your life now after the end of April for the next 7 years will be very different. They'll open new horizons for you. They'll teach you, and they would shock you, and they might even come for short time indeed, just to show you that there is another way to live your life. Uh, and there is this youthful energy around them. There is this Gemini energy. There is this excitable energy, but disruptive as well. But yeah, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of movement for Sagittarius, because Uranus is opposing them. Say if it's your moon in Sagittarius, there can be a lot of movement where you live, places of living, your domestic environment, your family life can suddenly change from single to married, or from married to divorced, or even if it's your ascendant there. You might need freedom from certain obligations to others, relationships, or your partner might have big changes in their life that affect you as well in a big way. So it's exciting times that comes to you through others. But if you're single, guys, I don't think you'll remain single for a long time as a Sagittarian, because if you're in the center in your seventh house, and it might be more than one relationships that you'll have, experiment and try new things. And because of this Uranus-Saturn activation of your fifth house of romance, this is a strong indication of either renewal, doing something different with your partner, taking on new responsibility, but also that feels new and something that you haven't done before that will renew your relationship, or even ending relationships with Uranus in the seventh house and starting brand new ones. But it's exciting, it's different, things will move fast. I cannot tell you exactly when for you, sometime in the next 7 years. This course that I do, it will show you according to the degrees you have when you can expect it. But especially for the next 2 years, you would want something more serious, because Saturn is in your fifth house. It's not going to be just sleeping around. It's going to be something that is more commitment oriented, with mutual responsibility, but with a partner that either renewed relationship or something changed in the relationship. And Uranus in the seventh house can also indicate that opportunities will come to you through others, and they will be the stimulus for you to change as well. Anyway, exciting times. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. And yeah, we'll see you next month and start writing. Are you feeling those energies already? Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, April 2026. Capricorn, the month starts on the 2nd of April with the full moon in your 10th house, the most visible house, sitting highest up in the horoscope. So it usually gives us the results of our previous actions and rewards in regards to career, maybe completing some career project, maybe some recognition, maybe some visibility or clarity. Also some intuitive understanding about the next step in your career, some uh, emotional even situation, but I think it's for good, it's positive. Possibly either completing or seeing results or being emotionally involved with some career project. And that influence is possibly especially strong the first week of April. But as you can see, all the important major planets and events are on angles from you. You see on the axis, the angles of the horoscope. This is the backbone of the horoscope. The 10th house, the 7th house, the fourth house, where so many planets are in the fourth house. Look at that. Tuck, 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 tuck. It means that this month is very, very important for you because when planets move to the angles, they trigger new beginnings for us because the angles, it's where the seasons change. You know, the angles are uh, they correspond for you with the months of the beginning of spring, autumn, winter. And we know when the seasons change, there is a big change, new beginnings in our lives. So when planets activate your angles, and especially now it is the actual new beginning of the year, of the cosmic astrological year, a lot of newness is infused for you. And those especially powerful are the new beginnings that start in your personal life this month. Look how many planets are aligned there. And there's 5 conjunctions that are happening. Conjunctions in there, in the fourth house of home, of family, of personal life. Conjunctions are about new beginnings again, in the sign of new beginnings, Aries, in a cardinal house. So you might take some important decisions connected to your family, connected to where you live, connected to the environment at your home, the people that you live with, maybe set some new rules there, maybe decide to move somewhere, maybe decide to start renovations or changing something in your home or a garden, maybe starting some repairs, or maybe needing to address some problems there because one of the conjunctions is between Saturn and Mars. Saturn and Mars are considered, as you know, the more difficult planets. And when they join together once every 2 years, and every 2 years it's in a different house. For you now, it's happening in the fourth house. Maybe it's the start of some responsibility, new responsibility or duty or efforts in regards to parents, in regards to children, if you're a parent yourself, in regards to parenting role that you take on in regards to doing something important, as again it might be building house, it might be relocating somewhere, and it might not be immediately in April even though there's strong activations then, but over the next 2 years you'll do this and you start the first steps in that direction now in regards to starting family, in regards to settling, but it will require you to take personal responsibilities because Saturn is you, and Saturn in the fourth house, this two this 2 year cycle that starts between Saturn and Mars. Mars requires you to mobilize your energy, to put your personal efforts, to do something that you were afraid to do before. Mars will give you the courage to do something that requires more efforts and more drive and motivation. Mars will do it. Even if you felt scared to do it before now, you will have the courage to take it on, whether it's a house or family, something to do with your personal life. Sometimes even it is about cutting connections with members or moving away from some toxic, environment, home, place of living as well. Mars and Saturn give you this push to do this difficult thing. And you have to be a bit more careful around especially from the 17th when the new moon is, the moon conjunct with the sun, renewal, new beginnings. And then on the 19th, Saturn joins Mars. You might feel more frustrated, more triggered because you're Saturn. Mars is like, you might have this internal push to do something, impatience or frustrations with others, or maybe family members might trigger you, or people close to your heart, or something in your home might be more like triggering and need some attention. And Mercury is also part of this conjunction. It's 3 planets together, Saturn, Mars, and Mercury. So yes, confrontations, power struggles, arguments at home, or something breaking, or something needing your attention, or needing more careful, deliberate actions and presence and consciousness. Yes, these are difficult planets, but they don't mean negative consequences. They don't mean negative developments necessarily. They mean like you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to do something that requires more efforts, that is not how you typically react, to control your reactions as well. And you're good at that as a Capricorn. Even though definitely you might feel more triggered, but also these are the period from the 17th till the 21st, 22nd, this triple conjunction and the new moon period, when you can take really those important decisions about your personal life, about even about connected to career. I know, because Saturn is the planet of work after all, connected not just to your personal life but the whole direction of your life, because Saturn rules you, even connected to your health and you know your physical body, but especially because it's the fourth house. It's some about family, home, personal, emotional connections. And if you feel activated, just remember, even if it's not the family, it might be other people that trigger you around that time. Remember, it's this triple conjunction. And remember that something very good can come out of it. It's pushing you towards a new beginning, to change something in your emotional response to others, to do something differently, to consider a new opportunity or way of doing things in a different way, and to push you finally to do something that you didn't have the courage to do before. Yes, so that's a lot where the energy is coming from. Some important decisions, Mercury, that a serious Saturn, that you play a big part of the decision making because you're Saturn as well. That will require your efforts and dedication, maybe some further commitments in family with taking care of someone, or, as I said, property, real estate, and so on. And because all those planets also affect your 10th house of career, of social standing, those decisions are not just on the personal level, they can definitely reflect into your career, into your worldly position. And look, another thing is that Jupiter as well is on an angle for you. It's moving direct already. So all planets are moving direct, new territories, new decisions. It's not going to be something old. It's going to be new solutions to an old thing. Or new territory, brand new opportunities or developments around you. And again, Jupiter is also on an angle in your seventh house of relationships. So a partner can help you till July. From now, April, because Jupiter just turned direct in the middle of March. In April, you'll start feeling more and more its beneficial, positive external influence, support from others, something good happening in your life through a partner. Maybe your partner gets a promotion, your partner gets positive development, maybe a partner appears in your life if you're single. And that's why you have to take some important decision about settling, or children, or family, or parenting, or place of living, or your personal life. But it's a good force. Jupiter in the seventh house, a good force comes to you through others to push you to something. And maybe it's also that you might be freed from unhealthy relationships that was stagnant, because Jupiter is also a planet that is liberating in a sense. But if so, new relationships where the personal or business will appear that are very positive, that will have expanding influence on you, supporting influence for you. They're like God's blessings to you, not just in April, till July. So watch out, good things coming to you from others. But those others will play a very important role in the big changes that are happening in your life because of the planets on angle, changes in the pivotal areas of life. They might be like a trigger, or together with a partner. If you're single, someone can appear. If you're, or business partnership or business can start expanding, and to have wider reach to more people. Jupiter there. But also this very big focus on the fourth house, especially in April, that is telling you that you might have to do some personal sacrifices about certain comforts of your private life, about certain, you know, getting you out of your comfort zone in a sense, so you can achieve some goal or overcome some problem or achieve some big, great work connected to, uh, especially somehow connected to your personal life, connected to your family relations, emotional attachments as well. Anyway, and home. And Venus is in your fifth house. So for romance, again, another very good planet. It's visible, it's moving forward, it's in its best favorite sign. Venus loves Taurus, that's where it's strongest. So this month is good for romance and when it comes to children. For some of you, maybe that's the big, new heavy responsibility at work, sorry, at your personal life with home because of a child, but in a good way, because Venus says that something good is happening there. It's easier to get pregnant, for example, or romantically. Jupiter in the seventh house of relationships, Venus in the house of falling in love. Two very well dignified and the luckiest, happiest planets connected to those romantic or relationship houses, or maybe some creative hobby will be very fulfilling for you. It will give you a great sense of joy, satisfaction, release from this pressure that's here in the fourth house, because there is pressure there, especially if you're a Capricorn that is around 6, 7, 8, 9 degrees. These are the December born Capricorns. If it's your sun there, or if it's your ascendant or moon, it's 7, 6, 7, 8, 9 degrees. The Saturn, Mercury, Mars conjunction hits exactly those degrees. So some very important big life change will be happening for them, even up to 9 degrees. 6, 7, 8, 9, those degrees. And when you need support, reach out to others, reach out to partners. That's where it comes from. Maybe even have fun, go on a romantic dinner, go dance, go on a holiday. Fifth house is these wonderful things that we enjoy to do. Do your favorite hobby, whatever it is. And that will, Venus is the nurse where we let off some steam, where we kind of like a sacred haven, Zen energy you can rely on through this fifth house. And the other big event, Capricorn, is that Uranus is moving into your sixth house. For the last 7, 8 years, it was in your fifth house. And now it's moving into your sixth house, no direct aspect to you. But what is the goal of Uranus? So this is long-term prediction, not April prediction only. This is for the next 7 years. Sixth house is house of work, of duties, of debt to others. Uranus is the planet of freedom. It wants to free you. Are you in a heavy debt? It wants to free you from a debt. It wants to free you from responsibilities that you maybe have responsibility towards something or someone. Uranus over the next 7 years will want to free you from that, to liberate you from a debt you have, literal, financial, or debt towards someone. Or the sixth house, the house of service, might want to free you from a 9 to 5 job, or might want to give you freedom from work even, it can disrupt that. For some of you, you don't have to work, or others that you retire, or others that you are not in a 9 to 5 job, or you start a new job that is more authentic, more freeing, more true to yourself, because Uranus is the planet of truth. It does not tolerate something it does not tolerate. If it's not something you're passionate about, if it's not something that resonates deeply with your authenticity, with yourself, you're not gonna do it. And if you're in jobs that you're just in the sake of the job, just so you can get money or survive, Uranus is gonna disrupt that. You might lose a few jobs before you finally say, okay, I'm gonna do what truly resonates with me. So that's what's going to be asked from you in the next 7 years. And I've seen many people after Uranus in their sixth house end up, they either like keep starting new jobs on off, or they finally dedicate, like they find the thing that's truly authentic to them. And it's kind of more like freelancing usually. It's something new as well. It might be connected to new technologies in some way, or alternative things, but it's also more liberating. And yeah. So, but I can tell you a lot more stories. And sixth house is health. I'll tell you how Uranus in the sixth house relates to health. and how to approach that in my webinar, which is Uranus in Gemini. Even though you're not Gemini, Uranus, you see, affects the sixth house from you. You might have Venus or Mercury in Sagittarius. Uranus will oppose them. It will force you into this brand new reality, whether you want to know, a brand new world that we're changing, because Uranus rules the new technologies, AI, the robotics. I'm not saying all Capricorns will go into this branch of work, Uranus, you know, of robotics and AI, but they'll definitely can digitize their work no matter what it is. They can introduce those new methods into their work environment, even if they don't feel ready for it. The universe will force you. And if Uranus you might have planets in Aquarius, Uranus will be making trines to them. And I'll teach you in this webinar how to see whether Uranus is making trines or sextile, which year exactly. Then those innovations that you work in your daily routines and your health and habits will be beautiful, very easy, without disruption. It's almost like you're ready for it. You'd flow with those changes very easily. You'd find the right software. You'd find the right uh, treatment if it comes to health, like sudden solutions. But if it's oppositions or squares, it's a different matter. It might feel disruptive, the changes to your daily routines that you might have to do, to your daily habits. It might feel out of character, but it's still necessary. So I'll teach you what is the best thing for you to do and how to do it, and with many stories. Check out the webinar. It's only $30. But you see, there is the changes here of your daily routines. They'll be, and it might be not as, your daily life, if it's usually you have your routines. Capricorns really love their routines. Well, now with Uranus moving to your sixth house, you really have to adapt quickly, because your daily routines will change. And you have to incorporate new, like biohacks, for example. You might get into the newest research, the newest scientific discoveries to incorporate in your daily habits. Or you might kind of like your daily routines and schedules might, like a wrecking ball, fly up in the air, almost be disrupted. You make plans, this is what I'll do, all plans change. So yeah, Uranus is interesting in the sixth house there, but ultimately it wants to free you from duties and responsibilities, and service or works and jobs that are inauthentic for you, or even habits and health habits that are outdated, and introduce you to new ones. So thank you so much, Capricorns. If you need help, reach out to others, Jupiter in the seventh house, and do some creative outlets, Venus in the fifth house, while dealing with those fourth house newness there, whether it's home, personal life, and so on. Thank you. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, April 2026. Aquarius, Uranus is moving into your fifth house, and it's about to unleash your creativity, your genius creativity like never before in your life. It's moving on the 26th of April. That's towards the end of the month, but the influence will be till 2032. And the early Aquarians, the first 5, 6 degrees, they would feel it already in 2026. But all Aquarians will feel this big shift energetically towards the end of April, where the planet that rules you, because you're Uranus. You see, Uranus moves for everyone in Gemini, but Aquarius feels it the most, because that's the planet that rules you. And it's moving from its sign that it likes the least. So almost like for 7, 8 years, Aquarians were in environment that is not their own, because you're Uranus, you remember? It's one of the planet that rules you. And it's like Uranus hates being in Taurus, because Uranus likes change, and Taurus is like crusted earth that doesn't want to change. So there might be this stop and start energy. It might have been for 7 years, so disruption somehow. And it made in your fourth house a lot of changes in your personal life. For me, it was a lot of movement, moving back and forth. And it's me being a mother, and this role has never been like so natural for me, but I invested in it. Wherever your planet is, you invest in it. And then Uranus moves. It's almost like a fish that's been trying to swim on the earth, and it's moving now into the water, but more like it's a bird that you've been trying to make a bird walk on the earth or in water or whatever. Now this bird can fly. It goes into its natural environment. That's what is going to happen for us Aquarius, for you Aquarius. Our planet moving into air sign. because Uranus is a mental sign. It needs freedom. It needs space to move. We need that as Aquarius. That's why we need so much independence. And when it was in Earth sign, is the most limiting Earth signs, the most concrete. And now it moves to air, Gemini. So we're gonna feel like I feel like a bird again. I can fly. And it's in the fifth house of creativity, of joy from life, of getting in touch with your childlike side. So you're gonna start getting ideas from this year already, maybe from the end of April, you'd feel it. You're gonna start getting an 11th, the fifth house rules creative intelligence. It actually is the true house of intelligence. Intelligence is not how well you can remember the table of multiplication and know facts. True intelligence is how well can you solve problems in a creative, original way. How easy can you have original thoughts that your own rather than copy paste. So this is what Uranus is going. You're gonna blossom into being original, being more authentic, being more who you are meant to be, being who you are, uh, your natural talents. The fifth house is everyone carries some talents that are latent in them. When Uranus is the planet of awakening, and it's you, and you enter your house of talents, natural talents, so you can discover over the next 7 years talents, interests, hobbies that you are not aware you have, and they might be quite surprising for you. Just like in the life of every Aquarius, many times they surprise themselves or their destiny surprises them how it turns out, because Uranus is very unpredictable, like Aquarians are. Well, not all. We're also ruled by Saturn, so it made some periods were very predictable and some bam, everything okay for a few years, and then you shock everyone. Well, now you're not going to be that shocking. It's your originality and differentness and quirkiness will jive really well with the changing environment. It's not going to disrupt your yours and others' lifestyles around you. You'd express yourself authentically, but in a way that is not, unless Uranus is making opposition. If you have planets in Sagittarius or Virgo or Pisces, you're still gonna create ripples and you're still gonna shake up and you're still gonna be a bit of a wrecking ball. Your decisions and the changes that come to you can be a bit of a disruption. But how do you know if Uranus is making easy or hard aspects from your fifth house? I explain in my course for Uranus in Gemini. It's 5 hours. It's only $30, and you don't need to know any astrology. I show you how to generate your chart, see where your planets are, which year exactly Uranus will make either harmonious or more disruptive aspects. And the disruptive doesn't mean bad outcomes. It means it's a bit more crazy. It's more disruptive to your normal life, but it still creates innovations that is needed in your life. It's just in a more dramatic way, let's say. Well, harmonious, it happens easily. But overall, Aquarians, their planet moving into Gemini, and Aquarians rules all new technologies, whether it's crypto, whether it's social media that is developing, the newest things, or whether it's AI and robotics. These are all Uranian fields. And when it moves into the fifth house, you might naturally develop a talent to understanding those, almost like a hobby. And you naturally will, fifth house is your luck, like they might be like a lucky thing for you. You might incorporate it in your daily life or work or whatever you want, or in your creative projects or entrepreneurial projects, or in how you raise your children or whatever. But somehow those new reality that is coming, ushered in by AI and new technologies, you're gonna, because Uranus is making trine to you, very harmonious aspect, you naturally incorporate them without struggle and without much friction, unless Uranus also makes squares or oppositions there. And so you'd align to, many people are worried, will I keep my job? Will I be relevant now with AI, my skills, my talents, whatever? Well, you will be as an Aquarius, because Uranus enters your fifth house. The Uranus is those new technologies. Enters your fifth house of creativity. You'll quickly come up with new ideas, new ways of presenting yourself and expressing yourself. Fifth house is how do you express yourself? Not just talking, I mean, into the world. You'd immediately you'd gradually, I don't know, is it gradually or immediately, would start to align with those new things and incorporate them creatively and originally into, and you'll be able to utilize your talents, fifth house, your creative originality, original thought, to incorporate it with those new realities of the economy, of the world, of the technologies. And yeah, so as I said, creative, unleashing creative outbursts, but also Uranus in the 50s, romantic love. So suddenly falling in love for some of you, suddenly getting pregnant for some of you. Whether this is disruptive or very easily incorporated, again, depends what aspects Uranus is doing from your fifth house there. Suddenly breaking up with someone, suddenly falling in love with someone very different, or excitement in your romantic life, or new hobbies, a lot of exciting things. And the other big event, let's focus now specifically on April, because this was more long-term prediction. I wanted to give you the heads up to feel that you're entering your natural environment, your Uranus in air, it loves it there. Yeah, there will be still disruptions, but they're exciting for us. Look at this. Specifically in April, all planets are aligned in our third house. And they're not some of the easiest planets. Saturn and Mars are conjuncting there, the two most challenging planets. And difficult doesn't mean bad. Again, repeat. Difficult doesn't mean bad, it means just difficult. Mars and Saturn and Mercury have a triple conjunction. That's one of the biggest conjunctions this year. Conjunctions is the beginning of something new. Some new circumstance appears, some new development that you need to react to. It gives the new direction for your efforts and energy for the next 2 years, because this cycle is 2 years long. So Aquarius, this is happening in our third houses of the mind. Maybe we'll be required to exert some mental efforts in April to really concentrate our thoughts, some feat of using our skills, our knowledge, our third house skills, ability, communication abilities, our knowledge. Yeah, there's a lot of energy there that we'll have to exert, and maybe something new. Maybe the conjunction happens around the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, especially the 18th, 19th, and 20th is Saturn conjunction, Saturn, Mercury, Mars conjunction, all those three planets. So it's easier to get into arguments and fight with others when they conjunct in the third house, to clash opinions with others, to have, check up on your siblings, relatives, so to have fights. Hopefully, don't react if you're provoked and triggered by neighbors, by relatives, by siblings, by workmates, teammates, by people. Third house is one of the houses of people in our life, by friends, even colleagues, teammates. It can be triggering. Just Saturn says, because it is the heaviest planet of all. So you have to obey Saturn. Don't react too rashly, because arguments can explode. Bide your tongue. Wait out maybe a few days and answer maybe emails. You might be triggered to send angry emails, to fight with others, others might challenge you around, especially 18, 19, 20th, 21st, when the conjunction happens. Just bide your time, structure your responses cautiously, and so on. But otherwise, you might be asked this month, because of this conjunction, to take up some new either some mental effort, to do some business project that requires a lot of concentrations and mental focus. For example, right now is again Mars conjunct Mercury, but in Pisces. I'm recording this, and I took this day to do. Mars is a lot of energy, and Mercury is communications, to record 7 hours, 6 hours of videos, which is very intense work, basically. And then in April, they join, the three of them, they meet again and they join Saturn. So maybe use it this month as some mental effort to learn some new skill. This can be a trigger for you, because 5 new conjunctions in your third house, new moon, Saturn Mars, Saturn Mercury, Mars Mercury, and Mars Neptune. So new beginnings, 5 new beginnings in your house of mental exertion, skills. Learn a skill, learn, whether it's with the hands, whether it's learn a new software, learn to do AI, take a course, challenge yourself mentally. This is the best solution. This is the best development. But of course, be careful, anything to do with siblings, relatives, not just arguments, something else. But out of provocation or some challenge, you can initiate some new projects, either to learn something or to change your communication style, to change something about the relationships. Also, be careful in those days about phones, not to get damaged, stolen, electronic devices, cars. I would even not travel on those days. Knowing myself, I'll travel probably exactly on those days. Like the shoemaker's child never has shoes. The same thing with the astrologer. So I'm making a mental note, don't travel, because Mars, Saturn, it's more accident prone. Mars, Saturn, Mercury, arguments, cars, damages, phones, communication, transportations, or you might be, forced to, not forced, but possibly like take on some new mental challenge or responsibility. Is it to learn to do a skill? Is it to develop some business project? Is it to develop some product? Third house is very business house, white collar, mental. Is it to train? Is it to train yourself or train others? Is it to do some important communication? So even to take on some media project that is long term, because it's 2 years the Saturn Mars conjunction, and the conjunctions last a few months. So you might something you start now, especially in the field of media, of marketing, of business, of learning, of communicating, of writing, of speaking, marketing, all of those things, mental work, they can last a long time, and you can be required really to use a lot of your focus, mental energy on such matters, communications, documents, papers, mental work. That's definitely the case for me. I'm leading a very long course, which will require a lot of talking. And I'm learning AI, and I'm developing AI, and I'm developing and I'm constructing astrology apps. So it's all converging around April for me. It's like I'm doing this prediction for myself, but sorry, I'm very partial. Anyway, but you see, you have a lot of help by Uranus, by Pluto, which are all combining here to help those planets in the third house. And yes, there might be trips, there might be a lot of moving back and forth this April, because of third house's movement, walking, business, communications, a lot of stimulation. But with Saturn Mars, you can also undertake something that you consider difficult to now, can be learning a language, can be driving a car, operating an instrument, doing some software, or even cutting off some people, or kind of social media. This is regulating and controlling, because Saturn Mars is great willpower, gives great willpower and ability to say no and deprive yourself from mental overstimulation and such kind of stuff. You can use it for that, to start a new chapter in your relationship with social media, more cleaned up one, in a sense. So there you go. And Aquarius Jupiter is moving direct in your sixth house till July. Things connected to work should do well, incorporating new health routines that you enjoy, that you actually really excited about. And and Venus is in your fourth house. So where is your peace of mind? It's where Venus is. Venus is very strong in April. Thankfully, it's in its own sign, is visible, has no bad aspects, only good aspects with Jupiter. Your home, your family, they become source of support. Your safe haven. Do something beautiful about your home, about your garden, buy some beautiful furniture. Things happening, things connected to property, real estate, place of living, move with ease. You get good results. This is easy. But things connected to papers, to documents, to negotiations, to working in a small team environment, this is where the pressure is. This is where you have to be more cautious, but at the same time move forward ahead with such matters. And exert more efforts, deliberate attention, deliberate efforts, and so on. So thank you so much, Aquarius. Bye bye. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, April 2026. Pisces, how are you after, the Sun, Mars, Mercury retrograde in March, Saturn in the last 3 years was in your sign. And now, lastly, in March, you had all those planets here converging, maybe a bit over stimulating. But now they're moving out of your sign. Mars moves into your second house. Mercury turns direct at the end of towards the 20th of March. And then on the 15th, it moves into, so till the 15th, there is Mercury only in your sign. So till the 15th of April, Mercury, but it's moving direct. So it's not retrograde. It's with the North Node. It's not with Mars anymore. There was some intense situations when Mercury met Mars in March. So there was like kind of quite stressful. But now Mercury in April till the middle of April is alone in your first house. So a lot of flow of information, signs you can receive. Mercury is the God's messenger, signs from the universe, uh, projects that are connected to writing, to speaking, to communicating, more movement, more travel, even likely in a good, positive way. Arranging papers, stuff like that, not in a stressful way, but good communications, good, let's say, negotiations as well. All mental work goes well. And then from the 15th, Mercury also joins all of those planets in your second house. Wow. You know, so it gets, March, there was an eclipse opposite you, many planets in your sign. So the pressure gets off of you. Now, Pisces, you can breathe out, especially the more we progress into April, and from the beginning of April, it's much easier for you. But you see, there is a huge concentration of planets in your second house most of April. And this, unless you have planets in Aries, that to activate again and to create a lot of new things, usually it's more peaceful time, but still there is new beginnings because there is a new moon, which means new beginnings, in your second house on the 17th of April. There is Mars Saturn conjunction on the 19th of April. They start a new 2-year cycle there. And there is a Saturn Neptune conjunction. And then on the 20th, Neptune Mars Saturn conjunction. So this triple conjunction, Saturn Mars Neptune, happens 19th, 20th of April in your second house. This could be a time, especially matters regarding to money, to financial security, to family as well. Can become, you might need to do some important decisions in regards to those things. And but it's new beginnings. It's not something old. It's something like a new idea can come, a new development there. It might be that something that forces you, because Saturn Mars are heavy-handed. They don't pamper you. Let's say they just they're gonna teach you to swim by throwing you in the water, but they still, push you towards exploring new alternative sources of income, finances. I just had Mars Mercury conjunction now in my second house because I'm assigned before you, and even though it's Mercury was retrograde, it's not as ideal as in April. And right then, powerful new ideas connected to financial opportunities appeared. So I'm wishing the same for you because this aspect will repeat Mercury, Mars, but it's the moving direct Mercury and there with Saturn. So some sacrifices might be needed and hard efforts. This is Saturn, some sacrifice of comforts, coming out of your comfort zone, coming out of familiarity, and also doing things legally and in a no shortcuts, like no get rich quick schemes. That's not going to work. But some opportunities will appear. They will require some efforts to develop your talents or to invest in something, some sacrifice of time or resources overall. But eventually, sometime, maybe even from now, from the beginning of April, from this month, or sometime in the next 2 years, because this is the beginning of a 2-year cycle, it will start giving results financially. And you are asked to do some important big work there. in regards to renewal of finances and new sources. I had the Saturn Mars conjunction in my second house as an Aquarius rising 2 years ago when they joined in my second house. And ever since then I changed how I work. It wasn't overnight. It required efforts, persistency, but I changed the services that I offer, the prices. I made them cheaper, but to reach out more people. So some adjustments, some efforts there it's needed, but the results, difficult doesn't mean negative. The results are amazing for me. So I'm wishing the same for you, that you can rearrange your finances, you can rearrange your uh, material base starting now from April. In a way, yes, it requires efforts and dedication, but the results can be beautiful. Also, the second house is food, what you put in your body, how you eat. Pisces, now you really can do the difficult things that you couldn't do till now. Saturn, Mars is like this weightlifter, bodybuilder energy combined together. So Mars gives you the motivation, Saturn gives you the staying power, and that now you can apply to how you eat with the foods. So really like Iron Man energy there. You can have the power to say no of Saturn and of Mars to push energy, maybe to learn yourself to cook or to teach yourself to eat, to remove or to add healthy things to your food, for example. And also you might have to do some work for your teeth. That second house is teeth. And some corrective or some extensive teeth work, who knows? With Saturn in my second house. And that's again 2 years ago. I did like a root canal for 3 months. I did it over 3 months. Anyway, and over the last 2 years that I had Saturn Mars conjunction. So again, I give you myself as an example, as an egoistic Aries. I always give myself as an example. You probably Pisces are like can't stand that because you're not you don't have such ego and self-focus. But forgive me about that. But I like to speak from experience. I changed my way of living, of eating. It was happened. Yeah, I put the efforts and I trained myself to do intermittent fasting. I would usually eat when I'm anxious and smoke. I taught myself to stop smoking and to use nicotine and to actually, instead of substituting with food, to stay with the feelings, to do the hard work. Saturn Mars is hard work. So you might take some important decisions about how you eat, what you put in your body, and start the work now and have a breakthrough. Actually, usually always the difficult planets are the one that give the best results. The hardest effort is required, but the final result is best. So for some of you might be to tighten the belt, to develop something, skills or new sources of income, or to save for something. These are the difficult things and new beginnings that Saturn and the second house can give you. Then you have Jupiter, the planet that rules you, moving direct in your fifth house. So you're very protected. It's Jupiter's trine is the strongest aspect, is directly looking at you, Pisces. So one of its luckiest. And Jupiter till now was moving retrograde for 3-4 months, but April it's full steam ahead forward. So it starts giving its external blessing. And when it was retrograde, the internal kind of wisdom, realizations, internal growth. Now the externally, you'll see the results till July. April, you're under the protection of Jupiter in a powerful way and under the protection of Venus with sextile to you, which is very strong in its own sign. So anything to do with Jupiter fifth house will be good for you. April, May, and June, which is romance, can start flourishing. Creative hobbies or creative endeavors or entrepreneurial projects, which are you're the creator of those ideas, can start flourishing, giving external results, moving forwards. Also, developments connected to your children. They can be good, positive things and opportunities that come to you through your children or your, children moving ahead in a positive way. Creatively, having a lot of creative ideas, zest for life, and more luck. Fifth house is the good karma, that we've earned from past lifetimes. Jupiter's moving ahead, so this good karma is protecting you, even giving you more luck with lottery, with games of chance, which is the fifth house. So with if you have it natural, if you have it as a given, I mean to win from such things, but you have it more than other times. Playing games of luck, playing speculative investments as well. But here, Saturn in the second house says you'd commit to something financially, some new direction, some new uh, course of self-worth, of self-value and self-upgrading of your self-worth that will take maybe months or a year or two, but you need to be financially cautious with the money that you have, your saved money, that you don't do it recklessly because of this triple conjunction, that you have to, new opportunities will appear, but you need to do it legally, not no get rich quick schemes, as I said, unless it comes to you through luck. Yeah, a little ticket if you buy or whatever. Because of Jupiter in the fifth house, you can have this luck, but otherwise, invest. If you're doing investments because of this powerful, strong second house, do it in something long term, something that might give slower returns, like property, something more established, something that is more reliable, not risky, because of the Saturn energy. And Jupiter in the fifth house here, we said romance, children, and Venus in the third house, just in April, says it's good time to travel. Be careful around the 19th, 20th, because of the Saturn Mars conjunction and Saturn Mars Mercury conjunction. This is just more critical times for everyone. But otherwise, trips, short trips, or even purchasing vehicles, communication devices, you'll get good quality ones because Venus is the planet of worth, of the planet of judging, assessing value. So it's very strong in Taurus. So if you're buying vehicles or phones or communication devices, so doing any marketing or media work, it will go flow. Or if you have any projects with neighbors, with siblings in a team environment, it will be going well this month. So yeah, these things, third house activities, communications of any sorts, short travels, learning something comes easy, gently, going for walks and so on. And then the other big event, Pisces, is that Uranus is moving into Gemini. For the last 7 years, it was into your third house. Now it is moving Pisces into your fourth house. Now you have to become more adventurous for the next 7 years. This is not a short-term prediction. The Uranus position is for the next 7 years. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen for you. I mean, if you're early degree Pisces, if you're possibly born the February Pisces, Uranus will enter your fourth house now. You would feel it already from 2026. The later born Pisces might be a bit later, the exact events. But for me, when Uranus entered my fourth house, I immediately, things started happening. For me, it was like for 7 years, I was moving back and forth, not constantly, but every time Uranus made an aspect from the fourth house, I'll move one continent, another continent, one continent. Fourth house is where you live, place of living, home, family. Uranus is a lot of changes. And so you need to be more adventurous now and be, even if you don't have any plans to move or to change something in your family dynamics or in your personal life, it will happen. Whether you want it or no, it will happen. And it will be a surprise for you. I never in my life expected to live back in my country of origin. Never. Uranus surprised me. It moved in my fourth house and made an aspect from there. So I never expected to own properties in the towns that I do now. Again, every time Uranus surprised me with that, but maybe it's a time for a move for some of you. Not immediately from April. I don't know. Uranus is there 7 years. If you want to know the exact dates, check out my course Uranus in Gemini, where I speak exactly about that. I show you what degrees you have. You don't need to know any astrology, which year it's going to affect you, how exactly it's going to affect you. Is it going to be a smooth transition or more rocky transition? The change will come, whether it's an easy or hard aspect. With the easy aspect, it's like you don't disrupt your whole life for it. It just happens like, oh, welcome change. With the hard aspect, it's more like, oh, I'm not ready for this. I didn't expect that, but it still can be for very good. The result can be very good. So Don't be afraid of it. But in my course, it's only $30. Check it out. I do the houses, I do any aspects Uranus can do from Gemini in your horoscope and what it means with a lot of real life stories. But Uranus in the fourth house, yeah, Uranus loves Gemini, by the way, and you're a mutable sign, so you adapt to change. You're not someone that always wants things to stay the same. Mutable signs is change, mutability. You can adapt easy. And Uranus in Gemini, even if you have to change or there is big shift in the dynamics of your family, new member appearing, a member leaving, cutting off connection with parents. Something for me, it was the opposite. After 25 years being away from parents, suddenly being back with next close to parents, I was like, oh, all right, I did not expect that. Uranus surprises you what you didn't expect. So you might find yourself at the other end of the world or living in a very different place over the next 7 years. You might find yourself suddenly being a parent or suddenly quitting a marriage and not wanting responsibility as a parent, or fourth house is anything to do with family or quitting your parents. I don't know how it will play out for you. It depends very much on the personal horoscope, but it's also about cutting connections with karmic cords, with the ancestral patterns. It ends with you. It ends with us. There is a movie now on Netflix. And I thought, what is it? She's going to end up with this guy? Oh, no, with this guy. She ends up, no, it ends with her, the violence, with her and the child. She rejected it. So it's about cutting karmic cords. Uranus cuts karmic cords. We call it also family curses, but this is just patterns that we inherited genetically and psychologically from our ancestors. It might be pattern of divorce, pattern of sickness, pattern of emotional, mental health illness, of depression. You can cut cords with it, of addiction, because the fourth house is the ancestors. You can cut cords with it. You can cut cords with attachment to old patterns of any sort. And it is liberating. Oh no, it can be disruptive. You're in a squaring you, but liberating to free you from the emotional repeat of the same patterns. All right. So thank you so much, Pisces. You see, the focus is here in the second house a lot. And Jupiter, I think you'd really feel the second house. You'd feel Jupiter, Venus to some extent. There are a lot of good influences for you. Venus and Jupiter helping the water signs in a wonderful way. So thank you.